Please don't air any of this, Brad.
All right, we ready? You hitting it? Tell me when we're rolling. No, we've been rolling. God damn.
We're Googling over here.
All right.
To nerd sports now, people.
Exactly.
Look out. Do you fear death?
Oh, one of the greatest lines of all time.
I've got a job to it. I've got a job to it.
Kind of like whistles at her, and Dad looks over and the guy's going. And Dad's like, I got the fuck out of there. I was like, oh man, you didn't partake? I thought that was part of the mountain biking community, that y'all just went out there and had sex together in your tight shorts. But
Angrily making me 30 sides of red sauce. He just takes it back up.
So that's what I was doing wrong the first time.
that's what you were doing wrong.
Big Pharma's turning the frogs gay, and it's coming after your kids.
And they're going to make them incredibly happy.
Infowars.com.
Listened to so much. Are you...
All right, let's do a fucking podcast.
All right.
It's about that time. Episode 16. My man,
Brad Durham.
Bron Overbey,
It's
sir.
Good to.
I've been looking forward to this.
Yep, I'm glad you had me out. I mean, this is something I never thought I would even remotely attempt.
Me either.
I mean, I'm just not a camera guy.
Yeah, we've only been doing this 6 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and it's
like,
awesome.
It's changed my life.
Yeah, I don't know how you can work a full-time job and do this.
This is how I do the full-time job. This gives me something to look forward to. You know, for so many years, I was being a dad. I was being a good dad and raising my kids and giving everything to them. But I'd stopped doing everything I really love. I stopped doing music and stopped. And the kids were the ones that really pushed me into getting back into that. And then I realized how much I love doing that, and especially now that they're old enough to be involved. Walter playing a song with us was awesome.
It's amazing.
Max is learning how to produce. Theo's doing his thing. I mean, it's just, it's wild.
Well, and for me, being on the outside, watching what you guys do it's fascinating. You know what I mean? You have been a good dad, and being able to, it just seems like to me it would take a lot for an individual to, do their job, their money maker, and then take the time to be with your kids, then do your band, your podcast. It just seems like a lot.
It's a balance, and like I said, the only reason I am doing any of it is because the kids are old enough to do it with.
Right, which is amazing.
And that's the thing, because
really
band practice used to take me away from home on the weekends playing out live, and that's why I was like, we're gonna do Durham Fest. There's 2 rules: you got to be family friendly, and we got to have alcohol.
Yep.
So that's kind of why we've been hosting them. Those are the 2 only requirements.
I love it. I mean, it was this last Durham Fest was. I mean, dude, there's a ton of people there.
Yeah, it was a good crowd.
Yeah, that was a really good turnout, really neat. The shirts cracked me up.
We had merch.
Yep, because, it was, somebody had to do that by hand.
2 ladies, Nicole and Brittany, did that over 2 days.
That's quite amazing.
I had no idea it was going to do, I naively thought they were just going to run them through a machine or something, and I was like, yeah, I'll pay for them, whatever. But after seeing what they were doing, I was like, oh my God, it was humbling.
Yeah. It takes a little bit of talent to do that. I tried to do like a Overbey's Automotive shirt.
Yeah.
It's just one shirt, few letters. Dude, it's not as easy as it looks. I mean, measuring all that stuff out, trying to get it somewhat centered. Yeah.
Nicole's got all that equipment now, so if you need a shirt,
okay.
Let me know. We'll hit you up.
Yeah, I wanna do that at some point. Obviously, that we're kind of going through a lawsuit.
Yeah, so you're talking about your business, Overbey Automotive, which is out Elkins Way.
Yep. Going through a lawsuit via a neighbor, and until we actually get through with that, I don't really want to advertise.
Yeah,
I don't want to make shirts. I don't want to.
I understand.
Like
you don't want to invest because you're. We probably can't talk about details of the case. I don't want to do that, but this has been over your head a long time, man.
Well, so we started off having to go through what they call a conditional use permit. You were involved in that. we had to get up, up in front of the quorum court and kind of state our case. And
But you'd had to fight before that, even just getting the building built, right? Didn't you
yeah,
get everything approved?
It's been a nightmare
on the up and up.
Yep, it's been a nightmare. It's we jumped through every hoop that they've made us jump through.
Yeah.
To the best of our ability.
Yeah, absolutely.
And here we are. I've been out there for 2 years now, and we're still going through it. I mean, it just this time via.
You've only been out there 2 years.
That's it.
And you've gone through this much shit. I felt like it'd been like 10 almost.
Well, I mean, it really feels like it.
It feels like it.
I mean, this is weight on my shoulder that I never expected all of this. I mean, the conditional use permit, okay, you know what I mean? You think you own county land, you think you can do what you want to do with it, but no, I mean, somebody's got to say so,
right.
And if you got one neighbor that's doesn't like what you're doing, I mean, you're going in front of the court system. I mean, that's just the way it works.
Yeah, it seems like if you have a Karen in the neighborhood, that person does not value freedom.
No,
those kinds of, you know what I mean?
It always pisses me off to
people who
drive by
control
some of these
others.
houses and they've got an American flag flying, and I'm thinking, man, this is the American dream. What I'm going
Yeah,
through.
literally.
And you're trying to steal it from me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the way I feel. It's
that's the way it looks.
But and I mean, we run it's a small shop. 2 bays.
It's a tight operation. It's
yeah,
clean. It's sharp.
It's clean.
Y'all are good. You know what you're doing.
Yeah. I mean, it's
you're honest.
Yes.
That's almost to your detriment.
Yeah, and it is. I mean, I'm
if
never
you're
going
at
to
a
make
dealership, you'd have to upsell,
Yep.
and you're like, hey, I think we could probably get by with just doing this, which is,
you know, I mean, typically the vehicles that I work on, I mean, I'm a Japanese Korean guy. I mean, Toyota, Lexus, Honda, Acura, Hyundai, Kia, Subaru. They're all kind of brother sister, very familiar with each one of the products. Toyota's obviously my favorite because I mean that's what we drive.
Yeah.
They're dependable. They're good vehicles. Love them. My family's grown up with it. Your family.
My family's definitely grown up with it.
Listen, I love my Toyotas. But,
yes, sir.
But that being said, we run a clean place. I mean, it's a really nice facility. It's been a long time since I've worked in a shop that has air conditioning.
Yeah.
We've got AC. I mean, it's
it's not like you guys are just upstarts who learn something on YouTube. Y'all have done this professionally.
I've been doing it since '99. My father James, my uncle Carl, they've been doing it. I mean, since the early '80s. For
These
sure.
are masterclass technicians.
They're the cream of the crop.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, I like to say that the apple didn't fall too far from the tree, but Brad, these guys are the best of the best.
Well, I was going to ask you, you're good, but do you feel like there's so much farther? Like, are you still learning a lot as you go through
absolutely, and I don't think you ever stop learning.
Yeah.
Not in this industry. I mean, cars change every year. There's something new. You always got to learn, but there's what a lot of techs out there would consider the theory behind the operation of all these vehicles. What the theory behind it.
Yeah.
That's where James and Carl to me excel. I mean, they know how things operate
and interoperate.
Absolutely.
And how this affects this.
I mean,
yeah.
if I don't know something and I need to ask James, hey Dad, what's going on here? The dude can sit there and draw me theory. He can draw out the operation.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fantastic because
That's
it's a lot
incredible.
easier seeing it.
So you're visual.
I
It helps
am.
to see.
Absolutely.
So does YouTube? Do you ever use YouTube to figure stuff out?
Yeah, I mean,
on the fly.
Anytime I work on a domestic product that I don't have any experience with, shouldn't be touching in the first place.
Yeah.
Yes, YouTube is fantastic.
You gotta stop letting my dad bring his damn truck to you. Is what you need to start
That's right. I mean, it literally is always a buddy. You know what I mean? It's like, damn it, guys, go buy you a Toyota. You know what I mean? Help me out, and that'll help you out. Yes, yes. So.
Well, didn't you? What was that? Was that a Land Cruiser you had up there forever with the engine out?
The old.
Yeah.
Like the old FJ, like an 80, I think it was an 84 model.
Yeah. Did you ever get that behind you? That was a nightmare.
It's done. Customer's happy.
Good.
It was a big job. I mean, it was we put New crank in it. We, re-ringed it. Piston rings. I mean, it was a complete rebuild, and that's a big inline
Yeah.
six. That engine is freaking enormous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not typically. I work on, like I said, Japanese, Korean. A lot of stuff's fairly small.
Yeah.
They pile it in there. I mean, it's you have no room to work, but
Yeah.
but once again, I have to tell my son all the time. I mean, by God, I'm telling you, everything in that vehicle comes out and it goes back. It does. It can happen. You just sometimes it maybe piss you off and you might have to go out and take a smoke break and.
You know what I
come
find
back,
interesting is like, I'll probably piss some doctors off by saying this, but like doctors get all these accolades and credit for the human body, and half of them are paid for by the pharmaceutical companies that that they prescribe. But mechanics are like just really not a talked about part of society, and they're so important
I mean, I do.
and
Yeah.
so skilled.
I do definitely think that the mechanic, the technician in the automotive industry is definitely kind of the black sheep. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good term.
We don't.
A grease monkey.
Yeah, I mean, we
Yeah.
don't get a whole lot of accolades, and which I don't care. What I
Yeah.
mean, I really don't
That's
care.
not why you're doing it.
But when it comes to in comparison of a doctor, it's like, I mean, every time I work on your car or anybody's car, your life is in my hands.
Sure.
If I make one little mistake, I mean, I could cost somebody their life.
Yeah,
And I
absolutely.
mean, it's so there's the liability of doing what I do is way up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, if I was looking to some stupid quirky number, there's about 1 mile of wire in basically today's modern car. 1 mile. We're talking a 10-foot car.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's all your veins, your
Yeah.
arteries. Everything in there is high speed.
Yeah.
You got to know how to diagnose it.
And they're going to have brains before long.
Well, they 28 of them in a lot of these vehicles. They're all these computers that have to communicate with each other within milliseconds
Yeah.
via what they call a CAN line. One drops could drop the other one out. I mean, it's overwhelming. I mean, it's
Do you feel like, I mean, obviously that's not the norm right now. Like you're not going to be put out of a job anytime soon with what you do.
no.
But do you think it's going to continue to go this way, or do you think it'll swing back to more simpler?
No, it's going to continue on its path. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no doubt about it. And I really feel like, just my opinion, maybe a lot of guys' opinions that work in the industry, but it sure seems like they're making things so technical to where guys like me won't be able to do this for very much longer with the new stuff, because everything nowadays is being built. You've got to have Toyota software. They're not going to offer little one-man shop.
proprietary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They own that. And
Yeah.
I can't get my hands on it, even if I wanted to pay for
That's
it.
smart from their point of
Hey,
view.
make it go right back to the
Make it
dealership.
exclusive. Yeah, you got to have it here.
Yep. I mean, it's and I get it.
So they got a motivation to take out a guy like you.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, but it's funny because I mean, if you take your car into the Toyota here in Fayetteville, I mean, you're potentially going to be 2 weeks, 3 weeks out because they're just so booked up that they can't get to you anyway.
There's too many people in this area for what we have here.
Yeah, I would agree. I
And
mean,
I wish half of them would leave.
yeah, me too. Me too. That's there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I mean, so like the scan tool that I purchased for the shop, which is basically, you hook it up to the DCL3 connector, you can read trouble codes, live data, It's very important to have. I mean, you have to have it. $8,000, but it only does a certain amount.
Right.
I mean, if I wanted to start programming keys and smart keys and stuff like that, another $8,000, and it's eventually it's like, how many keys am I going to have to program to make that money back?
Yeah, you got to think about that.
It's probably
Sure.
not worth it. So you bring
Yeah.
a car out to me and it needs immobilized reprogram. Either call a locksmith or take it to Toyota. I mean, it's
Right.
just because I just don't have the ability, and I'm not going to. At this point, I mean, I'm not interested. The most of the stuff that I do is mechanical, electrical, but I stay away from immobilizer keys.
Yeah.
That's something I don't want to spend a ton of money on. I don't like doing tires. I never have, so I don't know if I'll ever even get involved in that at all. But man, I sure do feel blessed to have the opportunity that my dad's given me. You know, my mother, they give me an opportunity of a lifetime. It's
And you've been through some shit, but to have that attitude still,
yeah,
to say, hey,
you got to keep going.
regardless, I've been through a lot of shit that's out of my control that doesn't seem fair.
Yep.
Trying to live this thing, but you're still grateful for
Yep.
it. That's a pretty powerful message.
I am. I'm bitter. I'm bitter about what we've had to go through. I mean, so my father, it's his show. I mean, really, I'm running it. Like I said, he gave me the opportunity, and I'm running it. But we talked about James and Carl being kind of top notch guys. I can learn a lot from.
Top shelf.
Yeah, I want my dad at that shop to where I can learn everything that I can from him while he's here, right? And this lawsuit's not allowing that.
You know what I think you ought to do?
can't-
Can I just speak freely for a second?
Yes, you can.
Y'all need to get the fuck out of there. Get out in the country somewhere and don't even have to worry about it.
Listen.
I know
totally
it sucks
agree.
because you've invested so much in it. And you probably couldn't even get your money out if they're not going to let anybody operate.
Right.
You know, like
Right.
you could probably take the lifts and stuff, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, we would. Yeah, I'd probably
You could
wipe
wipe
that thing
that
clean.
place every-
and
yeah.
James would have a nice little air conditioned shop to just goof
But
off in. And,
but wouldn't you rather not ever have to worry about it again? Because what's to stop somebody in 5 years or
well, and
as it develops, it could get annexed.
yeah,
You know.
that's it's funny because I
That's
watched
my thought.
I watched the city kind of encroach on. Dude, it's everywhere.
It's out
right?
here, bro. Yeah. It's
I mean,
coming.
you think you moved out far enough,
Yeah.
and then before you know,
Well, I
it,
don't
you're-
know when you remember when my parents built their house.
Mhm.
That was out in the country, man.
Absolutely.
And now it's directly
It's-
across from the high school.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Yeah.
in the city now.
Yep, it's quite amazing, and so that kind of scares me a little bit about the whole moving out. So first of all, I move out a little bit further. It's going to make my clientele, as of right now, have to drive further. Which listen, if you're good at what you do, you run a clean shop.
What if you move out of a place like this?
Well, I mean
It's
you're-
not too far.
No, it's not. I mean, it
It's
really.
actually probably closer centrally
Yeah.
than where you're at now.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you find a few acres out around here,
I've got a buddy right now that's a real estate agent. I told him, hey, I need to start shooting me stuff because I
Yeah.
mean it's something that I wouldn't mind doing.
well, James Gibson of Gibson Realty, he played bass on Say It Ain't
Yes.
So the other night. He's the one that got us this place.
Okay.
We bought this from him, that from him. He's plugged in too. So if you're looking for something,
Yep.
let me know. I can put
That's-
him on the hunt.
Right on. Well, I appreciate that because I mean it's.
But bro, I feel like that ought to be your best move.
well,
Just sink it and be done with it forever.
yeah. I mean, I agree with you in a lot of aspects because no matter what, where we're located, we're landlocked.
Yeah.
So I've got 2 lifts. We can't really build onto it much more. You know what I mean? It's not going to happen. So basically, the room for growth is there's none there.
There's none.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's I can only be as busy as I can be, and try to get people in and out like they want. You know. So yeah, the land. It's a big deal. I mean, James has been all over this. I mean, he's been thinking about that since the day he built this shop. Like, man, we're gonna have to find
But it's
something.
changed. They've been out there a long time. How long?
Well, I mean, yeah,
I mean, on in that house.
they've been there since 2000 and I'm wanting to say maybe 2001.
Yeah, it was around
Something
the
like
time my parents built theirs, which was 01.
Yeah, I mean, it's
been 20 years.
They've been out there for a long
Yeah,
time.
but it wasn't like it is now, was it? Like the traffic out there,
No. I mean, hell, I mean,
it wasn't anywhere near like.
you drive out Highway 16 East out towards Elkins. I mean, it's a
20 years ago, it
it's-
was a dead.
it's one lane dirt road.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In a lot of ways, but it's that place is booming.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is. I mean, Elkins is growing a lot.
I used to live on Sequoia, down there, and it was a nightmare getting to work. And this, I mean, this was even a while back, but yeah, back when I was growing up, my grandparents lived down on Mount Olive, so we were going down there all the time, and there was never anybody on that road, never, any time of day, anywhere. And then shit, I don't know if it was the 2000s, early 2000s, 2010s, but like it just started booming.
Yeah.
Those subdivisions go up fast and they fill up immediately.
Well, no, I'm telling you. I mean, listen. I love the east side of Fayetteville. It's pretty. It still feels a little countryish, but your side does too, right?
Yeah.
Being out just this far.
Well, we're on opposite extremes. You're
Absolutely.
far east, I'm far west.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. To where it's, I mean, there's still a little piece of kind of a country feel when you get out that far. I mean, but 2 miles in, you're,
I know.
or 3 miles in, you've got, Weddington is a cluster.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God, dude!
this
And
is
they're
a
building
cluster.
all this,
Yeah.
Apartment complexes and shit coming down this way. It's just nuts.
Yep. I mean, it's I don't know. You say find you some land out in the boonies. It's like, man, I sure would love to.
Well,
live
it ain't
out.
easy. It ain't easy
No,
to find.
It's not. And I mean, so my uncle, he's got his own shop, and he's out in the boonies, right? And guess what? I mean, he's so busy he can't keep up.
Yeah.
So
If you have somebody good, you'll travel.
Yeah, that's-
But what I'm saying is, there's places like around here that are available that
Yeah.
we could probably find.
yeah, I mean, for I don't know what
Yeah.
kind of money, but
I don't know. But if it's something you're wanting to look into, I'll help, man.
yeah, and I mean, I'd like to see what happens with this election, and then I really
Ooh,
might
boy.
be interested.
All right.
That being said, I mean, I could be just a fool, you know what I mean? But interest rates right now, I mean, that's something right there could damn near sink me in taking a $500,000 loan out. You know what I mean?
Well, just the things you're able to
Yeah.
do as a family.
Yeah.
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 Before all this inflation started, we were pretty comfortable and did what we wanted to do, and now it's like you got to watch the pennies, man. You
Yep.
got to really stick to a budget, and
Yep.
and I'm blessed to still be, doing what we're doing and still raising 3 boys comfortably.
Right.
But like, there's people
Right.
less fortunate than me that are really struggling
Right.
with just paying off
Well,
simple bills and whatnot.
I watch my son, 23-year-old dad. You know what I mean?
You're a
husband.
grandpa. By
I'm
the
a
way.
grandfather.
That's wild
right.
to me.
I've got a
What year were you born?
82.
So you're younger than me.
41 years old,
41. Yes, but
And me and April, my wife, we started young. I mean, listen, I mean,
Like your parents did.
I wouldn't recommend it to anybody, but at the same time, we did it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I've got a good wife, and she helped raise a pretty solid boy, and now he's raising a baby girl.
That's
you know?
wild.
It's,
I can't even conceive. It's like before you have kids, you can't even conceive of what it's like to have kids
right.
because it's so much different than what you think it's going to be.
Yep.
I can't conceive of having grandkids. Like, what's that like?
Well, I mean, I'm loving it. I mean, obviously, initially I was nervous, but not nervous for me or my wife, but nervous for my son. You know what I mean? And his
okay.
fiance. Where it's like,
Because you have
Can
no
you do
idea what
this?
you're doing.
Yeah.
That's a good
this?
perspective.
I
Yeah,
mean,
cool.
once you become a parent, the job doesn't. I mean, you've always got to be employed. I mean, you've got things that you have to accomplish.
You got things on your shoulders.
You have to.
Yes, sir.
You can't just give up. I mean, at least I wouldn't allow my son to do that. You
Right.
know what I mean? It's like, no, you chose this path. Rock and roll, get it done. I want to see. I mean, my main thing is obviously longevity of relationships. Really anymore, seeing all these kids. They'll get with somebody and they're married and then they're divorced. Married, divorced. Married, divorced.
How long have you been married?
Oh goodness, 23 years.
Come on, brother.
Me and my wife been together since we were 16 years old, high school sweethearts, middle school sweethearts. We've been together for 25, but our wedding anniversary was in June 21st. It was, I believe, our 23rd year. Yeah, it's awesome. And it ain't been easy.
No, marriage is not easy. Everybody
it's-
pretends like
yeah.
they're in the best one ever.
No, we've been through our ups and downs, but
Yeah.
it's what's amazing. I don't know if April would agree with me, but because I'm in a great relationship. I mean, my wife is a stud, but she might not think that quite about me, but she's what's kept us going. And I mean, it takes two, but at the same time, I mean, I at least had a kind of a rock there. Even some of the worst periods of my life, she was there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you both got to be like that, to be able to make it survive. And
love
and
changes
last.
too. Love changes from when you're young, and then when you have kids, and then when you have grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
Priorities change. The kids come first.
Well, I mean,
not for every
right.
parent. I know a lot of parents who the kids come last,
Right.
but
Right.
if you're doing it right, paying attention.
Well, and it's funny because I mean I really feel like in the past, I don't know, maybe 5 years or so, me and April's relationship's just gotten so much better. It's really simple right now. I mean, which I never thought we'd make it to this point where there is no jealousy anymore. It just doesn't happen, right? I mean, we 100% trust. It's easy, and a lot of fun right now.
Yeah.
We're empty nesters at 41 years
That's
old.
a wild thing. I can't, like I
So,
said, I can't even conceive.
We could literally.
And I
pick
don't
up-
want to be either.
Yeah,
was there any sadness there? Like, did you feel like a?
I didn't personally.
Really?
I think I've been waiting for this day.
Really?
For the boy to get his butt
Did
out.
y'all
on his own.
butt heads a lot? Or
We had a few instances. Nothing terrible. I mean, I'm a hard ass. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And I was maybe a little too hard on him in certain aspects, but in a lot of the aspects, I was just a softie.
Right.
And Mama, I mean, April, she's the one that wears the pants. You know what I mean? She was pretty much the discipline, and the responsible. I mean, she's always just been very responsible when it comes to producing a good product, basically, like motherly product.
a good motherly product?
Yep.
We need a T-shirt of that.
But yeah, I mean, it's the grandbaby. First of all, the empty nesting. I think it might have hurt my wife a little bit. I could see a little bit of sorrow there that her only son has grown up and become a man, and now raising his own family.
I'd still be weeping in a puddle, dude.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time.
I was literally I was excited about it because this is good for my son, right? It's like, I mean, it's time for you to get out there and experience the
that's
real
fair.
world.
That's absolutely
Grow
fair.
up, become a man.
You need to
Yeah.
do it. Yeah,
You know what I mean? You can't live with mom and dad every for the rest of your life. And I know a lot of listen, I've got a lot of friends and even family where the children still live with parents. I mean, I say children, I'm talking 30, 40-year-old people,
right?
And men.
Yeah,
it's I don't want to be like that.
No, you don't. And I'm also starting to see that about the homeschool thing. I feel like homeschool was a really good option during COVID, and it gave my wife an opportunity to homeschool. But now it's like, the value that it was bringing during that time is kind of over.
That's interesting.
And I get that they're socialized and they're involved in activities and stuff, but that doesn't expose them to the brutality of being around a bunch of other people you don't like.
That's right.
Which is what all of life is.
Yeah.
And so to all these homeschoolers out there who think, that's the way, and I get it, you don't want your kids indoctrinated, but the way I think it's kind of lucked out for us, we homeschooled them young, let them develop their personalities, right, and kind of get some identity rather than just go and parrot anything they see, and then you send them in after they're like established and confident in their worldview. So Max is going next year to public school. We'll see how he does.
Brad, that's damn, dude. That's interesting. That's neat.
But I think we're doing them a disservice at this point. Because
this
you need
point,
you need your beliefs, and this goes for you and me too, for anybody. You need your beliefs challenged. If you're in an echo chamber talking to the same people who just agree all the time, somebody says something against it, and it's like, well, I've had this, you have this tribal mentality to defend this argument. But if you're public school's a great example. You're hearing all kinds of viewpoints and people making fun of you and having to deal with bullying and having to cope with life. It's probably the hardest test. One of the hardest tests anybody has to face is getting through high school.
You know damn good and well it builds character. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. I mean, you either sink or swim in a scenario like that.
It forces you to become yourself or to become someone else.
Yeah.
What are you going to be? A leader, a follower? You know, it kind of defines you, at least at that time. Yeah,
but I mean that's neat because I mean, so I've had tons of discussions with my son about homeschooling the granddaughter, right? And my son's girlfriend at some point will be married, you know, but I don't hold anything back or against them for doing what they did. They're doing it, you know. I'm proud of them. Haley, she's seems like a damn good woman, you know, and but she's also educated in the school system, right? I mean, she wants to become a teacher. The baby kind of got in, not in the way, but it kind of slowed her down for finishing college. Right. But she could go back and do it. She could homeschool. So we've been talking about that for a while now, and you're the one thing that I see with my grandchild right now is that she's not around a ton of other people, right? No babies, she's just not out and about. So
I wasn't either, by the way, until I hit kindergarten. Like, I'd not really been around a lot of kids, and it made me weird.
I just when
I didn't know how to interact with other kids.
Yes,
I'd only interacted with adults.
Yeah, I mean I've got let's see here. I've got a 6-year-old nephew and a little over a 2-year-old nephew, and when we get together as family, watching them intermingle or intertwine and do their thing, it's breathtaking. I mean, it's but that's what I want to see her be able to do, you know what I mean? And just being at home with her mom all the time and her dad is a disservice in a way, you know. But I understand that she's still just a baby, right? I mean, she's not school age, so. But I think I'm taking what you're saying, and I'm thinking, man, if they maybe homeschool her for just a little while, build her character, right?
Yeah. But you need outside influences to build character. So what I see a lot of the time is, and I'll just say it, you got right-wing evangelical parents, or a lot of the people in the homeschool groups. And those kids are very sheltered, and they're very indoctrinated, and they're never challenged on anything.
Right.
And I don't think that's healthy.
Right.
And that same group of people criticizes the left for indoctrinate. You know what I mean? It's both extremes. We've eliminated one on the right, and now the other one's taken over. But like, they're both terrifying.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, that being said, you know, when my son was high school at FHS, you know, he, you know, I don't think he wasn't much of a school person, you know. I mean, he's more kind of hands-on. I mean, none of us really were, you know. I mean, I'm not you know, my vocabulary's not great. I mean, my math sucks, you know, but these,
you can fix an engine.
But these things, and this thing works mechanically. You know, that's just the way it is. The school was never really I didn't really give two shits about it, but Ethan, he finished high school at FHS, and right when he was going through this is when, you know, all the Black Lives Matter, and it just seemed like the culture just went on
to
fire.
A kid in high school.
Yeah. The good thing is I never ever really talked to this kid about politics. He came up with his identity alone, basically. Probably just seeing what we're looking at and making decisions. One day, me and April get a call from FHS saying, you know, Ethan's going to be suspended. We're like, well, what did he do? And I guess there was a big Black Lives Matter poster out on the, you know, just the hallways. And Ethan, my son, has a butt lick. I mean, there ain't no doubt about it. Went up there and marked the blackout and put all lives matter. Now, I mean, I don't know how some people would take that, but I just feel like, I mean, that's the damn truth, right? I mean, it is,
and
not,
it's the obvious truth, but they deemed it racist.
Yeah.
Because it was going against what turned out to be a sham group that was stealing money from investors and buying. BLM now stands for Buy Large Mansions.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a scam.
It was,
So, like,
and it's really hurt. I mean, it's really set us way back. I mean,
it did.
that whole.
It was a nasty business, but they were young people who were manipulated.
Right. And I mean, when that happened, that was probably the first time. So he would have been I believe a junior in high school, and at that point, that's when me and him probably had our first conversation about politics. Because I wasn't disappointed in him. You know what I mean? I think he was suspended for 3 days. I mean, me personally, I felt like that whole scenario, one color is better than another color. It's all bullshit. You know, I mean, we all bleed the same. You know?
We all bleed the same.
And we, at that point.
What was your position on it?
On what part of it?
On what he did.
I was proud of him, to be honest with you, because it's standing up against something that you're being basically indoctrinated to in the school system. This is the way it's going to go from here on out.
Right.
You know, Black Lives Matter, this, that. You know, I don't care. I mean, Black Lives Matter.
They did. Yes,
I get it.
We don't need a poster for that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that,
if
then
you don't
need
believe
to do
that,
it for
then you're a
everybody,
terrible person.
You know?
And
yes, it just doesn't make any sense. I mean, I just watched something just not too long ago with, you know, Morgan Freeman's kind of coming unglued about the whole Black History Month. You know what I mean? He's got damn valid points. You know, I mean, the man's an old man, lived through probably a bunch of stuff. That luckily, me personally, I mean, listen, Brad. I mean, I've grown up in the age to where, I mean, I'm not ever going to say I don't see a different color, but I've grown up in an era where race doesn't matter.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's content of your character. I mean, period.
Yeah.
I mean, it's some of my best friends are different color. Indian, Native American, whatever you want to call them, Black, Hispanic, I don't care. I mean, if you're a good person, dude, we're going to get along, right? I mean, that's just all there is to it.
Absolutely.
But for Ethan,
that's just common sense.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I can't believe we've gotten so far away from that. I mean, that does bother me. I mean, but what Ethan did,
we've gotten so far away from a lot of.
we live in clown world. I mean, it is. It's quite amazing.
How would you familiar with the Babylon Bee?
Oh yeah.
You know, so like their job's got to be tough right now.
Mm-hmm.
How do you make fun of reality when it's this crazy?
Yep, that's right. I mean, I watch a lot of Steven Crowder. Okay, that's one of my main podcasts. He does a damn good job at making fun of all the jacked up shit that's going on. You know what I mean? He does. But
I got some problems with Crowder, but I think he does good work.
Yeah,
I think he does good work.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I mean that's the good thing about.
And his marriage is none of my business.
Right.
So if I can, you know what I mean? Like, I think the guy's an asshole. I think he treats his employees badly, on when he's on camera, so I can't imagine what he does when he's off camera. Yep. But the dude gets his sources right.
Yes.
He's learned the hard way. You know, I feel like he's a trusted source of information.
I do too. You know what I mean? Yeah. I mean, it's like
he's a net positive. I think
he is. Bottom line. I mean, he is.
But I get why people don't like him because
he's an asshole. I mean,
he is an asshole.
You can tell. Yeah. I mean, you can see right through it. He's got an arrogance.
But I also think Ben Shapiro's an asshole.
Well, I would agree with that too. That's a smart individual, but I
think Tim Pool's an asshole. Part of my thing is, I left mainstream media to go to podcasts because podcasts were more credible, but the big podcasters are just as fucking arrogant because they know they control the market now. More people are watching them than are watching CNN.
Absolutely.
And they know it. And now I'm kind of tired of that.
Yeah.
I want to get down to fucking people like you and
me.
Well,
I mean, that would be neat.
You know?
See. Yeah, I mean,
which is exactly what they advocate. Let the market speak.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know? I don't think you need the production values and the run to these topics. I think you just report the world as it is, and I think those guys are all just trying too hard. They're to brand themselves. You know, the Daily Wire's gotten real gimmicky.
Yeah.
And I liked that at first. You know, the Jeremy's Razors thing was awesome.
That was amazing.
I mean, that was one of the greatest commercials I'd ever seen. And then the razors were shit.
Yes.
It was like, bro,
Yeah. Yeah.
come on, you got me. Like,
Yeah.
you fucking got me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, there's been they fired Candace Owens.
Yep.
I thought that was...
I just, I still don't know exactly what happened between her and Ben, but I mean, listen, I felt like even when they hired her on,
It was risky biscuit.
yeah, because I mean,
Yeah.
I'd seen some interaction with them before, and it's like, man, I don't think they get along too well.
I also thought that was a strange hire.
Mm-hmm.
It felt like a virtue signal on their part.
It does.
Like, we're bringing a black woman onto the Daily Wire.
Yep.
And I'm like, she's not a fit with the Daily Wire.
Yep. She's not. I mean, I think she's just a lot more. Well, she's independent. You know what I mean? That's
She's
what
inflammatory, and I think a lot of people don't like that about conservatives. But then it's like, well, all of you are inflammatory.
Right.
Like, why can't the right have a Marjorie Taylor Greene? You know, Jesus Christ.
Oh man, yeah, it's.
I don't care if the woman's afraid of Jewish space lasers. She's funny, and she cares about what she's saying.
Yeah.
You know, not everybody's right. Here's the thing that gets me about people. Is everybody wants to point the finger of scorn and say, you're doing this and you're a bad person. Well, what moral high ground are you on? Like, what makes you're without sin? Like, you don't have your own problems? But it's almost like if you can find something worse in someone else, it makes you feel better about yourself.
So, you saying that, this is kind of like surface level.
That makes sense?
It does, because
Okay.
what I'm going to say is, it hit home with me what you said, because I'm going through some of this stuff right now with the neighbor lawsuit, right?
Yeah,
Or via the shop. And what I'm noticing is these people are pointing fingers at me and my family and what we're doing, but yet they can't even take care of their own place, right? They got cars broke down out there. They can't mow their yard. It's just little things where it's like, would you just please clean up after yourself first, and then maybe come after
isn't
us?
there the story in the Bible? Before you get the speck out of your neighbor's eye, get the plank out of your own, or whatever it is. You know that message. Like,
but that's, I mean, that goes on to like what you were saying there is I mean, we got all this pointing, but it goes both ways. You know, I mean,
nobody wants to look at themselves.
Yeah, nobody does.
Because I'll be the first to admit I'm a terrible person. I've got a lot of fucking problems.
Shit, I mean, me too, brother. I mean, me too. I mean, dude.
Hey, but you know what? You try and get better.
Yeah.
You try and better yourself every day, and you try and hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
And it helps to have people around you to help you hold yourself accountable.
Yes, it does.
But ultimately, it's up to us who we are.
Yeah.
But I can acknowledge my faults. And because of that, I don't really like to point fingers.
It's easier that way. Well,
Because it's like I'm not really a fan of what they do, but I do a lot of things that are worse in other ways. You know, it's like I just feel like we've gotten to be such a judgmental society, and I'm guilty of it. I do it, but I try and tell myself, that's not the Christian thing to do.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the only time man, Brad, I'm telling you, I think I'm just living in my own fucking world sometimes. You know, I mean, I just don't pay attention to other shit. What's going on? I mean, politics, obviously I do, because, I mean, I feel like our livelihoods kind of, listen, that's cliche. I mean, that's maybe stupid for me to even say, but I do feel like we might still be able to be a good country. You know what I mean? Maybe.
We're still a great country. We've just been infected.
But yeah, I mean, and other than that, I mean, I literally, almost at my age, my position right now, I seem to have gotten this kind of tunnel vision to where it's like, I don't care what you do. Leave me alone. You know what I mean? It's just leave me out of it.
Okay,
but they pull you in. It doesn't matter.
So there's two ideologies. I guess you could break a lot of things down into twos, right? But the simplest one I see right now is freedom versus authoritarian.
Mm-hmm.
Some people want to control others and tell them what to do and create a world in their image. You know, and it's the right or the left. If the authoritarian right gets into power, they're going to start banning metal records and, you know, The Boys and, you know, TV shows that are, you know, not in line with their beliefs. You need a balance. You need everyone to have a voice.
Yeah.
That's what's beautiful, but we've become, you know, targets for each other. I see this all the time. The right says the left is a woke cult, and the left says it's the Trump cult. And so both sides think the other one is brainwashed.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, and you know, and that's, I feel like a lot of this stuff has been around for a long time. I just
Absolutely.
you know, me at that point wasn't maybe either paying attention or whatever, but Trump.
But social media is also an amplifier.
100%.
We didn't have that when we were growing up.
I didn't.
I mean, that
Did not
wasn't
have
until
it.
we were
Yeah.
after graduation.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, hell, I don't
early
think I
2000s.
joined.
Would you
like
graduate 01?
Hell, I didn't graduate, so I wouldn't even know. I mean,
You
I went,
would have graduated in 01. I'm trying
yeah,
to get
probably
an age.
somewhere around
Yeah,
there.
because you're 41.
Yep.
Born 82.
82.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but it was after 01.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then it was MySpace,
Mm-hmm.
which everybody was obsessed with. Like, you could have your own website, basically. It was a great marketing. Like, because before then you had to almost pay somebody to build a website. And
Well-
then you get MySpace, you get your own page.
Right, and I mean,
It was incredible.
I never ever got involved in any of that stuff, and this is, you know, I'm a
Not
little
even
bit-
MySpace.
None of it. None of it at all. At one point, I got on Facebook later on in life, but
Yeah.
I don't even do it anymore because I mean, I just disagree. Me personally, I don't need any of it. You know what I mean? I don't need it.
Yeah.
But I get it.
Nobody needs it unless you're trying to promote something.
Yeah, but I mean, I see.
Or reach out. I mean, there's people I've connected with, but then I get their cell phone numbers, and then they're either a part of my life or they're not.
Right.
I don't need to see the superficial. I get what you're saying. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, and it does bother me that when I was growing up, I mean, you've seen technology changing, computers coming, phones coming, you've seen this stuff happening, but I pushed back, you know, like via myself. I mean, just, Bron, this stuff is not going to stick and stay. We're still going to need paper and pencil. We're still going to,
Right.
you know.
Right.
and
You were
I-
resistant to
I
the change.
resisted it, and damn it, it put me way behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, it did.
You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, watching your boys be able to do this stuff right now is
Yeah.
impressive, right? But it's what they grow up
But I
with.
feel like I've got kind of a duty to pass on some, you know, like I need to be at least where they should be, and I'm way far behind. So learning this stuff's been great for me,
Right.
because at least they'll have a skill that's marketable in today's era,
Right.
doing something practical.
Right. And I mean, that's when I first started out at the shop. Brad, this was 2 years ago. I had no idea how to email anybody. Had no idea.
Really? Never even used email.
Never used it.
Wow.
And guess what? I've got to freaking know how to do this stuff now that I'm out there.
Rick, you know Rick Owens? Did we talk about?
Yeah, I mean, you
We
mentioned the
mentioned
name.
him earlier,
and
didn't we?
And I dang it, I'm telling you, if I seen his face, I'd know him.
But yeah, I forgot we talked about that. He was on the pod last Thursday, and he was talking about something very similar. He had a lot of good things to say. You and him ought to come on together and talk
yeah.
some mechanics.
Yeah. Does he have a part of a towing company too, or does he have a tow truck or anything like that?
I don't think so.
No. Okay.
No, he's got a shop on Highway 62. It's mostly like Kawasaki dirt bike kind of thing.
Okay. You had a gentleman on.
Austin the mechanic.
Yes.
Oh, I'd have all three of you guys on.
So and he
Mechanicast.
and he actually delivered a vehicle, maybe yours.
It was mine. It was
to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I seen him on the podcast, and I was
We were
like,
talking about you, and
that's great.
I asked him if he knew you, and he was like, well, I think I delivered a vehicle out there, and it was mine.
Oh, man,
and
that's
I
great.
kind of felt bad because he could have done the job, but I was like, no, I want Bron to do it. I didn't know him very well at the time.
Well, I've seen him a couple times now.
Have you?
You know, and yeah, it's
He's a good dude.
Yeah, he seems pretty laid back.
Thank you for your service,
yeah.
Austin.
Yep. absolutely. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's I don't know, just being out there now. I mean, like I said, I wish I would have paid a little bit closer attention to just computers in general, right? I mean, just really, I mean, the emailing is. I mean, listen, I've got it down now. I mean, I've been out there for 2
You want me to
years.
show you how to do a podcast?
No,
Could you imagine
it's too
a
much.
Bron Overbey podcast?
Not at all, man. You know,
Dude, you would take Harrison by storm.
one of these I wouldn't mind getting the dang GoPro to have as I do certain jobs, because some of it's just valuable
Dude,
for somebody else.
What if you videoed you
just working.
fixing cars?
Yeah, I mean, just doing
Here's
it the way
how
that
you
I
do
do
this
it.
job. Here's how I do this job. You put it online.
Yep, the book tells you
You
got to
monetize
pull
it.
the whole damn engine. It's like
That's
nope,
that's
gosh
joining
damn
the
it.
future.
Yep.
If you want to make money, that's
Yep.
how you do it.
Yep.
Especially if it does become a niche market with cars advancing, and there's going to be people needing to know how to fix that old shit because people are going to want to keep that running as long as they can. So you're never out of a job. It's just how can you adapt
Yep.
to what you have to offer, what you have to sell.
You are correct on that. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But like, you know, once again, I've got a buddy that well, his wife does my taxes, and they're customers of mine. Basically, we've just gotten to know each other over a period of time. And at one point, he was like, "My wife's a CPA," and I was like, "Hey, I need one of those."
Yeah.
So but we've gotten to know each other pretty well, and he's big into trying to. He built a website for Overbey's Automotive. I didn't have anything to do with it. He did it out of just what he wanted to do it, and he's big into taking photographs and uploading and videos and uploading, and I'm like, damn it, Dan, I just don't like being on camera. I just don't like it.
You know, you got the personality for it, though.
Well, I mean,
You would be good on camera.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I just, it's not my forte, that's for sure. I mean, I don't love, but I'm typically in the engine. I'm dirty, and I like it. It's
You might end up having 2 million Chinese schoolgirl followers.
Yeah.
You never know.
I mean, that's true.
Somebody's going to be into it. I'm telling you.
There's so many.
Especially kids. My kids watch mechanic videos.
Yeah,
They watch videos of guys like merging 4-wheeler bodies and
Yep.
3-wheelers and
Yep.
shit, and
Yep.
like they love it. And these are long form videos. It'll be like I'll come in and ask, like it's time for bed. We let them watch TV a little bit before bed, and I'll go in there at bedtime. It's like, how long's left in the video? If it's a couple minutes, you wrap it up, and they're like, oh, we still got an hour and a half of this car build. I'm like, yeah, no, not tonight. But fuck,
man.
they'll watch that long form shit.
Yep.
And I love that.
Well, and I mean, there are guys out there, that they do a great job, on really getting down to the technical side of what they're doing, and it is fascinating. I mean, it's neat to see that.
Well, it's neat to see what you do.
Well, it could be. It could.
I think it'd be interesting to do a show on how to write a song.
Yeah.
How I develop a song
Yep.
from start to finish.
Absolutely.
A little documentary on it, kind of.
Yep. I mean, that's fascinating. I mean, how do you do it? I've got a song that I wrote for my wife. It's got what would you say, about 30 seconds worth, maybe something like that, maybe a minute.
Something
Brad,
like that.
and then after that it just falls apart, right? I mean, it's putting it all together. I mean, that's.
Do you want to work on that?
I want to show it to you at some point.
Let's put it.
And then you read the words and you tell me, hey.
Let's put that together.
we
She
can-
gonna watch this?
Oh yeah. I mean, my family will watch this
All right.
for sure.
I was gonna say I'll edit this out, but we should put that together for like an anniversary or something.
Yeah,
But this
I
would
mean,
blow the
that's-
cover.
Yeah, that would be, yeah.
We won't do it.
Right.
We won't do it.
Well, I mean, it's
And then if we did, it would be a surprise.
she.
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, so like I forget. I forget even how to play the damn chords, and my son, he's got it memorized. You know what I mean? To where it's anytime I can just say, "Hey, do that." And how does that song go again? It goes like this.
He won't do it in front of people.
Well, apparently not. Hey, I mean, listen.
I'm gonna kick his ass. I don't even want to talk about it.
You probably ought to. I mean, I will.
That son of a gun.
Listen, I'm going to give him a little bit of benefit of the doubt for missing Durham Fest. They were supposed to have the baby picked up by the other grandmother, right? And her flight got delayed, or whatever. However that worked out. So they had no babysitter. In my opinion, Brad, and I know what the kids are thinking. They're thinking, God, we're going to have to go out there. We're going to have the baby. She's going to be running all over the place. We're going to have to. It's going to be miserable. It's
Right.
not going to be fun for us. But it's like, man, you got grandparents. You got great grandparents. You got Beatty. You got Bill. You got. I mean, listen, we could do
manage.
this. Yeah, we could manage this. They didn't do it. Okay.
You know, I told
get
them.
it. But they can't do it again like that. You know what I mean?
Well, I said,
just do it.
I
Show
said,
up.
leave baby with mama. You come to show.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
when I was playing in Durham, like Julie stayed home with the kids and I played the show.
Right.
You know, like,
Right.
that's what you do. I get, and Ethan's a good dad. And he's coming from a good place.
Yeah.
He wants to be involved. He wants to be there.
Yeah.
But when they're a lump like that, there's not much a dad can do.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I agree. That's. I was disappointed because I thought it was
I was too, because it was a good opportunity for him.
just
And you're never going to get a better one.
right. He needs to get some of this off of his shoulders. That he can do it.
Talking to you, Ethan.
Yeah.
Right
It's.
to the camera.
He needs
The
to
kid's
do
got
it.
talent, and he needs to exert it. It's like our drummer Gary
Mhm.
had always wanted to sing some songs at Drum Fest, and I didn't even know we played together for 10 years before our break, and I never knew that was one of his dreams. And so he did it at Durham Fest 1, and he was asking us at in rehearsal for Durham Fest 2. He's like, am I sounding okay? I was like, you're hitting the notes, you just don't sound confident.
Right.
Like, sing it like you mean it.
Right.
Don't
Right.
just worry about hitting the notes. Like there's amount of there's some performance to it.
Right.
And then, like, between then and when he did the show, it was night and day. Like, he really came out there and did it. But you don't learn those things unless you perform. So you
of
never
course.
grow
Yeah,
as a performer.
Me personally, this right here. Well, this is a culture shock for me. I watch them all the time. Podcasts, I watch them all the time.
Yeah.
This is not, dude. I've never done anything even remotely close to this.
Well, we probably should have been doing it for a long time. Honestly, now that I think about it, it's like, why haven't I been doing this for 20 years?
Listen, what I love about you and your dad is you guys are pretty techie people. You're smart. You do a ton of things, right? Music.
Between the two of us, we got it covered.
Dude,
yeah.
And yes, I am surprised that you guys haven't done anything like this. But I'm also surprised that Bill, James, Carl didn't open up their own damn shop. A long time ago. They should have done that. They would have been the number one go-to place. There's no doubt in my mind. But they didn't do it. And a lot of that probably has finances.
No, I think I know why. When you, because I'm in this now, and part of the reason I didn't do a podcast for a long time is I didn't want to risk what I had. I had a family I was raising, right?
Absolutely.
So if you're going to open a shop, that's going to require investment. That's going to require long hours. It might fail, and then then what?
Yep.
I think that's it. I think that's why you do everything you can to make your dream happen when you're young, before you're married, before you have kids. Follow that dream until you can't follow it anymore. I felt like I was in sober, and we were, when I graduated, we were touring around, we were playing shows out of town, and we were doing it for 2 years. We were making money at it. We were living on it. And then it fell apart overnight. And rather than just like get back into it, it's like, no, I'm going to go to college now, and I'm going to follow this. And I think everything happens for a reason. I'm glad I didn't make that path at the time, but I also felt like I gave up on it too early. Because I didn't have any responsibilities.
Right.
Like, the only reason I went to college was to, ease my mother's worries about my future. Like
Right.
I wasn't worried about it because I had nobody to care for. And that's the attitude of the young and the selfish. You don't have anyone they're responsible for. Do what you want.
Well, that's once again.
But now kids are following their dreams until their 30s and 40s and living in their parents' basement. So at some point,
Right. Kids, if you're going to college, go become a doctor. Okay. That's it. Other than that, gender studies is not going to get you anywhere.
did you watch He-Man?
Oh God, yes. Yeah. He-Man was. Yeah, dude. That's
Like that was God to our
Absolutely.
generation. Like that was the first franchise.
Skeletor,
Yeah,
He-Man.
yeah.
It's I love that.
If you look at it now, so that poster is one of my oldest possessions. I've had that since I was like 3 or
Oh,
4. It's a little homoerotic.
Okay.
It's a bunch of muscled men in
Yeah,
underwear. I
yeah.
think there was something going on.
Yeah. Well, that's the first time I've seen He-Man in 30 years, you know what I mean? That's funny. It is. That's Brad. That's what it is. It looks pretty barbaric and kind of,
If you were a gay Viking,
a bunch of
this
studs,
is your
yeah.
show. Well, so I went through this
funny.
like
That's funny.
pre-life crisis when Julia was pregnant with Max. I went and watched all the shows I watched as a kid to like, what can I, what was good, what can I show my son when he's like, I was always getting way ahead of how old the kids were. It was like, when can I get him his first chainsaw or, and so that's why when they're little, I really felt like I was a shitty dad because it was like, we've rolled the ball 3 times. What, put him on the nipple and let me go do my thing.
Yeah.
But now that they're older and like I can engage with them, it's been the most.
And Brad, that's what's to me where I'm at in spot in my life right now. Dude, I've been waiting for this moment my whole life. Ever since we had Ethan, right?
To get rid of him?
No, dude, we're father and son. We're best friends.
Yeah, I know.
It's like this is what I've been waiting for. We love to go play golf together.
You're excited because now you're no longer responsible for him. Now he's his own man.
Mm-hmm.
He's reached the clubhouse in a way.
Yeah, I would.
So you're almost saying I'm giving you your manhood. Like we're not father and son. We're equals.
It's absolutely. It is.
So that's why you were excited about it. That's not a perspective I'd considered.
Okay.
I see this.
There is something to say about that. It's like watching. First of all, not everybody plays golf. You guys will always play music. This is something that you all have in common.
Yeah.
Shares a bond, father and son, forever, right? And to me that's important. It's like now this. You were a baby. You were a child. You were a teen. I raised you into this. Now I want to be kind of friends. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's like let's go and hang out and do things.
Do you feel like you were more forthcoming with Ethan than your parents were with you as far as stories and talking to them and being conversational?
No, see that's where I would have to say that I wasn't a great dad. There's no doubt about it. Mama took care of all of that. The loving, the nurturing, the discipline.
So then what did you contribute? Like you contributed something. It takes 2. So like take credit for something. Like what do you feel like you contributed to his success?
So later on, his middle school time, from let's say 13 to 18, I think I contributed at those points just a kind of a how would I say that? That's where I made him strong, right? That was in those times I made him wrestle, whether he liked it or not. Show up to practice, got to get it done. Just wrestling's a tough sport.
Get her done.
Yeah, just
you got to teach that get her done.
So, but the main thing is at that point, I do feel like I was very hard on him. I pushed him in a lot of ways at that point because it's
Dad
like,
should push their sons. Yes.
This is where I felt like he was growing. He was in that transition from being a boy to a man.
Right.
And at that point, I mean, the kid stuff. Listen, Brad. I mean, I didn't know how to do any of that.
I know.
Really. I mean, I I mean, yeah, I'll hold you. I'll do whatever you need me to do. But
yeah,
that was out of my wheelhouse. When it got
Same.
to more the physical side of
the
things,
visceral, the touchable,
that's
tangible,
when we came into effect. And I mean, damn it, me and Ethan's rolled. I mean, we've the kid's tough. I mean, I should have never put him in wrestling, because I mean, he's also, a foot taller than I am, but we've had our battles, but that's also made him really strong and me strong, and it's also bonded us tremendously.
Yeah.
But now that he's on his own, wife, child, we get out, go play golf. Brad, it's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, it's we both enjoy it. We both are not very good at it, but we love playing it.
It's special, man.
But it's just that camaraderie, and I think at this point. So at one point, the kid would have hated me, right? I mean, he would have. But at this point, being 23 years old, I mean, he loves his dad. You know what I mean? And I love him. I mean, he's
I'm glad you have that,
he's
bro.
he's doing a good job. Exactly what I expect. Damn it, work. You
Yeah.
got a family to take care of. Work.
I know he
Do
cares.
your best.
He
You know
cares.
what I mean? It's and it's neat to see. I mean, that's it's humbling to me at that point. It's like, damn it, we did do something right. Whether we thought we're 16-year-old parents.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, hell, we didn't know what was going on.
No, I still haven't got my parenting manual either.
And
Do you think they kill him?
well, dude, that's very.
Well,
good
let me ask you
possibility.
this. So I got a bet going on with my buddy Nicole Bynum. She's got the, not the Urban Dictionary podcast, but she doesn't think they'll put him in jail. And I strongly believe they will. What do you think?
Yeah, I don't know about the jail. I know they want to. They would love to do that.
Why wouldn't they? Because
But-
everything's backfiring?
Yeah, but
And
I
that
mean,
would backfire even more because now
I-
Trump could sell orange jumpsuit shirts.
absolutely. I mean, that's what's happening.
His mugshot's the number one selling image in the world.
I mean, I'm sure I bought merchandise, with his mugshot on.
I know I have.
It's
Well,
like, I mean,
hold up.
It almost makes me proud. You know what I mean? It's like hell, a convicted felon, huh? Wow, running our country. But it's one of those things where.
But on the counter argument, a lot of people are like, hey, you can't get jobs at all these companies if you're a felon, so you shouldn't be allowed to be president. Well, I say, let those companies allow felons. If you've done your time,
well,
right, you've paid your price. That should be a net zero to society.
Right. I mean, it's, I did, when I was younger, I'd gotten a DWI, lost my good paying job, right? From there, you're pretty much, because of what I do for a living, I drive customer cars, I fix customer cars, I'm working at a dealership. From there, Brad, I mean, I couldn't find a job in the industry because nobody could hire me because of insurance purposes, right? Dude, it almost destroyed me.
Gee,
You know what I
'cause
mean?
you couldn't drive.
Over
Yeah.
a DWI. You know what I mean? It's like, I can get a work permit, I can do
Yeah.
all this, but nope, insurance company, not going to have you. So you're gone. You're eliminated
The
from
DWI,
the
which happened in your leisure time,
Uh-huh.
which didn't affect your...
Yeah, and that's where, I mean, bottom line, I mean, it just kind of goes to the aspect of, if you pay your dues, you listen, it didn't keep me down. I mean, I had to take some really, really crappy jobs for a while, but it paid our bills. For the meantime, we were broke. It got us by. 5 years later, whatever, I can jump back in the industry. And I think that's wrong. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, I was leisurely out there, doing something wrong, illegal, 100%. But to bury a man over something like that. I mean, I think it's a little ridiculous. You know, I mean, it's that could have been the end of me and April and my son. You know what I mean? It's if I can't provide for my family, I'm what am I worth? You know what I mean? It's
Nothing.
Somebody is going to have to keep a house.
Yeah.
You know, that
Worth
roof
nothing,
over
yeah.
that head. You know, and it's with Trump. I mean, I feel like listen. I mean, they badmouth him all the time. I personally like the guy. I mean, I like he's charismatic.
There are people that apparently have 8 hours a day to post anti-Trump stuff on Facebook. It is baffling. Like, that's got to be a disease. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think about Biden all day.
no.
Or even the woke mafia or any of the stuff I hate about. I just don't think about politics all day.
Yeah.
Like, when I have time to allot to it, you know.
I
Post a funny meme, but when you see the same person, just like 22 anti-Trump posts a day, like at what point do you need a therapist?
Yeah.
And then TDS is real, but if you bring it up to them, apparently they don't like it.
well, I mean that's you know initially when that term come out, I didn't gravitate to it very quickly. But at some point, it was like, holy shit, this is real.
I'm with you. I thought it was a right-wing talk. Oh,
I
they're just
did, yeah.
we're gonna name something that for anti, and it's like okay, whatever. And then after a while, you're like, man, these people are nuts.
I mean, I'm watching what they consider like the legacy media melt. I mean, completely melt down, throwing tantrums over.
Oh, it's wild.
Over
okay,
the-
what do you think's going to go on Thursday night, the debate? Do you think the debate happens, first of all?
I don't know. I love Trump's words just a couple days ago. He said Biden's going to come in all jacked up. You know, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true. I mean, I've watched anybody that's paid attention to this. I mean, you can see this guy, and I mean, you can almost see the back of his head. I mean, it's through his eyes. I mean, there's just like nothing there. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, he's actually seems fairly normal. Listen, I mean, I think medication is definitely involved in this one. I think it'll happen.
Have you had anybody that age that you knew that was kind of delirious? Do you have any grandparents or?
Yeah, but I mean, when they got that far, it was done. There was no coming back. I mean, you know, the medications that they were on were just to basically.
But you know
keep
what
them
they were
alive.
like when they were there. Could
Absolutely.
you imagine them being president of the United States?
I would
It's
be
abuse.
ashamed.
It's
Yeah.
abuse.
Yeah.
Joe Biden needs to be in Delaware.
Yep.
I feel so bad for the man. Like, I have no ill will toward Joe Biden.
I don't either. I mean, listen, man, retire. You know, set sail in the sunlight, man. Just enjoy the rest of your life. Why he's in there right now, I don't know exactly, but the people that have put him in that position, they ought to be ashamed.
They're terrible
You know
people.
what I mean? They're terrible people. I mean,
It's awful.
yeah. I mean, I have no ill will towards the guy. I mean, I don't like him because I mean, I feel like he's kind of sucked off the tit of America for his whole career.
He stole
you know?
so many other people's work. He has tons of videos of him saying racist shit in the 70s because he's been there long enough to have lived, you know, and he should know better than anyone else. Times change.
Right.
You can't judge somebody 30 years ago based on today's standards, you know. It's like they're banning books from long ago that use certain words because we don't use those words today. But, like, how do we learn if we can't acknowledge our past and
Yeah, and I mean, you
move
know,
from it?
that you're right. I mean, obviously, I mean the majority of Americans would agree that it's not been perfect. You know, the experiment of America has not been perfect, but damn it, I mean, I feel like if there's any country in this world that's tried to combat the negative, damn it, America's top of the notch. I mean, they're cream of the crop. I mean, we're trying to not erase, but to make amends. I mean, we're trying. Everybody's learning. You know, it's like, so I'm Native American. I ain't ton of it, but I've got enough to have my card. Got a lot of family that are Native. Indian, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's, but you know, I hear all these stories about these indigenous people. We took their land. We did this. We did that. We were terrible to them. I'm thinking, man, the stories that I've heard, these people were killing each other. They were tribes were attacking tribes. I mean, it was war all the time. We came in, the white man came in and tried to create a foundation of peace, basically.
But we did murder and savage them and take their
Damn
land.
it
We
did
fucking
happen.
did it.
It did happen, but they were going to kill themselves.
But the
anyway.
narrative is that they were this peaceful, loving.
I hate the narrative.
you're
it's a
right.
lie. It's
There
a
was
lie.
a lot of war.
Yeah.
Now there were peaceful tribes,
Absolutely.
but there were also warlike tribes, and so you had to, hire security or learn to fight. Yeah, no, it was not. It was not the peaceful bliss they think it was. But we still fucking savaged them and took their land.
We did, and you know,
100%.
I mean, it's and listen, I mean, is it wrong? Yeah, absolutely, but
This world is strongest survive, and that goes for the world stage. If we are not as strong as China and Russia combined, we will lose,
Yeah.
and we will be taken over.
Yeah.
So isn't it worth something to be strong?
well, it is. I mean, that word's lost a lot of its strength. Really, I mean, it's sad because I mean it's
Clip that one.
yeah. It's sad because I mean, you know, I particularly love seeing people that are strong. And I'm not just saying physically, I'm saying just the whole package, right? I mean, being a father, obviously you know this. I mean, at times, I mean, you've got to be the rock. You got to be strong.
You got to be mean.
And you got to be mean. Unfortunately,
Sometimes you got to be mean. My wife hates it when I lay the law down. But
Yeah.
by God, I want to know. I want them to know where the line is.
Right.
This is the line.
Yeah.
And
And
it's nurture versus nature. Women want to nurture and provide. Men want to take care of shit and prevent and solve problems. They're both needed. They're both equal parts to the equation.
Yeah, I mean, that's, between me and my wife, now listen, April is strong. I mean, this is a strong woman. I mean, and she'll she'll come right back at me if I'm wrong, you know, but typically, I mean, like with her, the way that we've grown up together is when I say enough is enough, no more, I fucking mean it. I mean, this is where I'm drawing the line, right? And she knows that. So at that point, it might be an asshole, maybe, but it's also strength. You know what I mean? It's what it is. It's like when
that goes for both sides. A woman can do that, lay her lines down too, and say, "Hey,"
and she does. And I mean, it's strength.
You both hold each other accountable.
Yeah,
that's not a male asshole thing. It's a relationship thing.
Yeah,
you both say, here's where I fucking lay down the line.
That's it.
And if you can navigate that, and you've been married for how many years? I mean, goddamn long time.
Yeah, for 16
My
years.
parents just hit 45 years.
I know, it's amazing.
I don't know how that math adds up, but that's wild.
We've lost control of that too, in today's
I didn't realize
age.
they'd been married so long before I was born. So I'm only 42. And they waited 3 years to have a child.
Yeah, well, they did it the right way.
That doesn't sound right.
You sure?
I think the government changed my birth certificate, Bron.
You're actually 45?
They had oh my God. My family's involved in government conspiracy.
Yeah, I wouldn't put it past Bill.
We have to go. Now we have to go back in time to correct the birth certificate. I got to ask you about this koozie, my friend. So roll up, rocking this thing.
Yeah, it's old. It's I've had this for, I'm assuming right now since 2000 and for about 20 years. It was Two Sons campground in Knoll, Missouri. Float. My family loves to float and fish.
Is that elk?
The elk.
Yeah, it's elk, yeah.
And damn it, I bought this koozie then, and it's been kind of a pet peeve of mine to keep it. I don't like to let other people borrow it, nothing like that. It's mine. I've had
It's
it
like a
for
pacifier for
Man,
a baby.
Listen, I mean, it was my first one. It's awesome. I could buy 100 of these for $50. You know.
Do you remember that time we floated the elk and you were in that goddamn OU canoe?
Yep.
Do you still have that fucking thing?
I don't.
Why would you float that fucker knowing how much animosity you're gonna get at you?
Because
You just want to fuck.
it was a
Just
middle
to
finger.
fuck you.
I
was the most Bron Overbey. Yeah, I knew. I've always wanted to ask you, like, why? You knew what was gonna happen,
Absolutely.
motherfucker.
Yeah. Well, but
It's
I mean,
the
it's
worst
like,
fucking float trip I ever had. This is the last float trip I ever had, as a matter of fact. I was like, I'm done. There were people fucking in canoes
Yeah.
floating by. You had the OU canoe. Everybody's giving a shit all day.
Yep. Well, I mean, I don't know. You know,
Somebody
it's,
probably got brain damage.
once again, it's like if I'm floating an OU canoe in Missouri, Tiger area, or Arkansas, Razorback area, if my canoe offends you so bad that you want to fight over it, dude, I'm not the problem. That's crazy. Now, I did get a lot of shit from that boat.
It's like wearing a MAGA hat in LA.
It is.
It's the same fucking thing.
It is 100%. I mean, it was. I don't know. That was me being a little butthead. You know, I mean, I was young.
Man.
Hell, I enjoyed it, and I talked to so many people over just that boat. You know, just good conversations. Some of them were not good.
You know, in a
but-
way, Durham Fest was kind of started out at that place. You remember when we used to play in a trailer out there?
Yes, I do, and
We
that
did
was
it 2
amazing.
years.
Yeah, that was
And
amazing. I mean,
do you remember Hannah Fest? Were you up
yes,
here then?
Yes. Yep.
Because you didn't grow up in Arkansas. You grew up in Oklahoma, right?
grew up in Oklahoma, moved here when we were 16. Me and April. Yep. So I
Okay.
mean,
Because I didn't know you growing up. I didn't know you until high school or after.
Brad. Yeah. I mean, I think we would have probably met. I mean, I think I was 19 years old when we met.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah.
I mean, I think that's maybe the first
Which
time.
is weird for me because I've known James all my life.
Right.
You know, I knew he had kids,
Right.
but y'all grew up elsewhere. And
Yep.
so,
Yep. I lived in Oklahoma. James and my mom lived here. And you know, I don't want to get off into this too much, but you know,
No, we don't have to.
me and my wife, we so I quit school early. I mean, 9th grade. I give up. Said I'm done. I started working in flooring, you know, hands-on kind of stuff. Made a living. Moved out. Back then, guess what? I rented a place at 16 years old. You could do that. Nowadays, I don't even think you can do that anymore.
No.
But I worked, rented a place. April moved in with me. Kept going to school. Finally, one day, I was young. I had a lot of buddies coming over. They started bringing a lot of drugs in the house that I didn't even know that were there. Right? I had no idea. Before you know it, I'm hearing my family saying, "Bron, you're on the police scanner. They're looking for you, or they're coming for you." I was like, "What the hell? I work all day long. I mean, I'd come home. I might smoke a joint, maybe something like that." Anyways, I come to find out, yeah, the friends, which are acquaintances, obviously at that point, were selling drugs out of my fucking house. And so me and April at that point, we're like, we want more than this, right?
Yeah.
We've got to do something. So
Yeah.
I called my biological mother and was like, "Hey, Mom, me and April are going to pick up and we're moving. We're throwing our stuff in the back of our car and we're going to drive till I run out of gas and I'm going to find a job and we're going to survive." And she's like, "Well, you ought to call your dad." So I called James and he said, "Well, why don't you guys come up here stay with us until you get on your feet. And Brad, that's where it's been. You know what I mean? They give us an opportunity.
Did
once
you know,
again.
Jane? Like, did you?
Listen, very, very little.
Until when?
Until 16. You know, I mean, so I would see him probably once, maybe a year through my childhood. You know, at that point, I was not fond of him because I didn't know him. You know what I mean?
Wow. That's
so
kind of wild. So you really didn't even get to know him until you were almost an adult.
Correct.
So he wasn't there for a lot of the formative years, but you guys have obviously got a super tight.
Well, I mean, and I feel very blessed to find him at some point because he's built the man that I am. You know, I mean, I get to watch him. He's got a great work ethic. He's a hard worker. You know, I mean, hard dude. Love him to death. He's a great family man. You know, it's like shit.
He's a great man.
He's a great man.
He's
you know
a great
what I mean?
man.
And
he's an endangered species. We'll put it that way.
For sure. Just like your father is. I mean, dude, some of these guys, I mean, they're cream of the crop. You know, I mean, it just doesn't get no better.
They're cool fucking dudes, you know.
I mean, it's taken me, you know, initially, I mean, I wasn't just best buds with my dad by any means, but at some point, you know, when it comes to a man working for himself, working for his family, you know, he taught me so much to where it's to kind of instill in me a good, strong work ethic. Try to be the best man that you can. You know what I mean? Good family man. I'm nothing like him. I mean, like I said, I mean he is a different generation, better than I am for sure. But I'll always try to hold myself to his standards, but I'll never be able to reach him, and I know that.
Your grandparents much? I know kind of touched on it earlier, but did you ever have like any deep relationship with them?
Not really. So obviously, my family being split up, you know what I mean, like divorce. I got two sets of everything, right? Yeah. And growing up in Oklahoma with my mom, my grandfather, call him Papa. God, I love the man. He was a father figure.
Dad, or
nope, this is
your mom's dad.
Yeah, mom's dad. He was a father figure. Matter of fact, I mean, when I was, like I said, 15, I moved in with them, my grandma and my papa. And I lived with them until I quit school and then just went on my merry way, you know. But they were there to worst time of my life, you know what I mean? Just me not knowing what the hell I'm going to do, you know. But school wasn't it, not for me.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, I mean, it's funny. I was talking about it a couple days ago to a customer of mine. He's a school teacher. First time I had ever met him, and I was like, "Listen, I quit school early. I'm not proud of it. I went back and got my GED just to prove to my son that, damn it, you got it. I
when
want
did
you
you
to
do
that? When I was 29. Waited a long time, but I
Good
went
for you though.
But I went back and did
something
it.
you wanted to do.
Yeah, because
so you did it.
Ethan was really struggling with school,
right?
So I needed, and he had the avenue of saying, "Well, Dad, you dropped out." And it's like, damn it! All right, I'm gonna have to do this. Yeah. And Brad. That's tough. When you're out of school, you forget how to divide fractions.
Hey, dude, my wife homeschools, dude. My kids are like, "Hey, dude, can you help me on this?" I'm like, "No."
Yeah.
I didn't sign up for this.
But yeah, we you know, I don't even know where I was going with that. But I mean, bottom line is that, I mean, me and April started out hard. We didn't get to meet my dad really, but then all of a sudden he's in our lives, and James and Shelley are, I couldn't ask for any more. I mean, they are pristine people. James is a bull in a china shop. He's an ass, but I love it. I love him for it. You know, it's maybe build a little bit of, you know.
He needs to write a book of dick jokes.
He does.
You know what I mean? Like
100%. 100%. This guy. That's. I mean,
Just give him an hour
He-
in a typewriter.
he needs to just be on this podcast and just go through all of them.
Talk him into coming on. I want him on.
Oh my God! I mean, I think people would have a heyday with it.
Here's my Marvel crossover plan. You, then James, then Carl, and then we do
The threes,
yeah,
the Overbeys, and the Durhams.
and maybe get
Shit.
Ethan on.
Yeah, you ought to get your dad here too. I mean, hell, them guys crack.
I've kind of felt Dad out about it. I don't think he's really interested, so I had Rick on, and I'm having Mark on.
Mm-hmm.
And then I told them, I said, now y'all bully Dad on the coming on with you. And they were both like, yeah, that'd be a lot of fun. So
Well, and if
we're going to do that too. So I got all these different, like, the more people you have on, the more people you can mix and match. Like, I like to have you on with Austin, the mechanic.
Yep. Well, and that's, it's funny because me and my son, he's really, I mean, he's turned into a machine when it comes to his politics. For the good or the bad, I don't really care. I like what he's doing. I mean, he's a smart kid. Not worried about him, but we disagree on things.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great.
Yeah,
right?
my son and I have started getting into that, and it's like we both present our arguments,
Yeah.
and then, it's like.
You don't have to pick a side. I mean, there is a middle.
But I want to
It's
be
like-
challenged.
Absolutely.
If he has a better argument, I want to know about it,
Absolutely.
so I can have that argument.
Absolutely. I enjoyed talking politics with him. It's a lot of fun because, I mean, like I said, a lot of it we see eye to eye on. But there's a few things that I don't know where the hell he's getting his information, and maybe I don't know where the hell I'm getting mine.
Yeah.
Where it's like,
Well, I'm always curious to know, like, where do you get your news or your podcast? Like, what do you listen to?
man, I mean, I'm typically, I've gotten completely away from Legacy. Right?
Yeah,
the
so
Legacy
have I.
media. I don't watch Fox. I don't watch CNN. I
No.
don't watch any of it. Newsmax.
They're all paid for by Pfizer.
Yeah,
so
I don't give two shits.
No thanks.
And it's frustrating. You know what I mean? Because I mean it's it's on TV all the damn time. But at the same time, I don't pay attention to it. I just my main thing is the podcast, right? So it's funny because I mean I don't really like Joe Rogan. But man, some of the conversations that he has with people are eye-opening, and he, damn it, you know damn good and well, Joe Rogan ain't no right-wing lunatic. This guy's
He's actually pretty far left.
Yes, and he brings on some really neat stuff. I mean, when I started,
He's not the star of his own show.
No,
It's all about the guests.
When we were going through COVID, watching him bring these doctors on to talk about the
Robert Malone.
God bless, dude. That was eye-opening.
Yeah.
Eye-opening. Now you can believe it or not, but I mean, it's all kind of come to fruition. I mean,
it's all out now. Yeah.
You know, it's like I mean, these guys were right at the time.
Yeah.
And the legacy media, the government, whatever, was all after Joe for doing this. I mean, they were taking down his podcast.
You're talking about the ivermectin.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
So basically,
Silencing a voice.
Well, just to recap, so what happened was Joe Rogan gets COVID. His doctor prescribes him ivermectin. He goes on and does like a video short, like a TikTok or whatever, and says, "Hey, my doctor prescribed me ivermectin, and I was great in a couple days." Then CNN plays that video and tints his skin green.
Yes.
And said that ivermectin is a horse dewormer.
Yep.
So that pissed Joe Rogan off.
That helps my point.
But what
Yeah.
CNN didn't realize is I think they saw him as a threat, and so they went up against him and realized, oh, his influence is way bigger than yours. People didn't realize how big the podcast world was until they went up against Rogan. And the next pod, he's like, they lied about me, and not only is he not canceled, but he's changed the whole narrative of COVID by saying, okay, so now we have somebody coming out and saying on fucking, on a pod, they lied about me. And here's how. And he showed the original video next to the CNN video. And obviously, ivermectin has won a Nobel Prize for efficacy in humans, and but it's not a lie to say it's horse dewormer.
No, it's not.
But Alex Jones gets fined $1.5 billion for getting a story wrong.
Yeah.
Yet CNN, MSN, all of them can just lie about COVID for 2 years without doing any fact checks because their advertisers pay for the script.
Yep.
Well, I mean, it's nuts.
Yeah, it's sad. I mean, how you can. I mean, that's completely silencing a voice, and a voice that's like you said. I mean, he's the top podcast in the world. It's been that way for a long time.
But he was also one of the first people to get into that space. Like, he kind of...
Oh, yeah.
And he's not the first one to do it, but he was the first one to make it.
Well,
like...
I thought he was kind of one of the first ones to kind of go to that long form. To where it's like,
I thought he's talked about a couple other guys, but I know that he definitely had people tell him this is the wrong way to go.
Right.
And he said no. And you know what's funny is I want to start a pod for a long time, but I always felt like it's got to be this or this or this, and I couldn't decide. And I always think back to, I don't know if you remember, I was in a band called The August before Durham, and it was like I had been in sober for so long, and it was like it's all got to sound like Creed, right. And so then it was like with The August, it was like it's got to be all in an odd time signature, and it's got to be acoustic, and it was not good. But I hadn't been able to let that side out, like right. That I was in this box, and then I went to the other extreme, and it was the first time we jammed with Gary, and it was me and Greg Melton from The August, and Gary came and jammed with us, and we were playing some August songs, and Gary said, I like the songs, but can we do something a little more rock and roll? Like, do we have to like confine it? And I don't remember the exact way he put it, but it was like, well, if you don't fragment it into these little boxes and you just open the doors, you can do anything. And that's more freeing right. than, considering, like, it's got to be like this or this.
But that also turned into the music that you wrote for Durham then, right? Yeah,
absolutely, because I didn't feel like I was in a box anymore. I can do anything right. now, and that made it better, because now... It's not, this is too out of the box. Right. Just do whatever. It was an unlimiting factor.
Yeah, I mean, it's, music. I love it. Listen to it all the time.
What's your favorite band?
Jeez. Man, listen, so, like, right now, like, new age stuff?
What, of all time?
All time would be... man, listen, I really like the Eagles. I mean, I did. I mean, there's a ton of songs that I like, hit home with me.
If Durham covered an Eagles song.
Yeah, Boys of Summer, dude.
Boys of Summer?
Yep.
That's not one you hear at a lot of the top.
No, hell no. You're not.
Top lists.
You're not going to hear that.
I'm actually interested. That's actually interesting.
Yep.
You always hear Hotel California or some fucking... But yeah, Boys of Summer. That's nice.
So, but man, I just I've kind of gotten off the old genre stuff because I mean, obviously, dude, listen, I love Pink Floyd. I don't like their Roger Waters politics. I mean, they burnt me out of the whole fucking Pink Floyd.
But you can't.
But the music was, I don't know, is awesome.
Don't tell me that ruined your enjoyment of Pink Floyd.
Shit, I still listen to them. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, hearing Comfortably Numb.
Well, a lot of people are like, if I don't like their politics, I won't watch the art. Yeah. It's like, well, then you're not going to watch anything.
I mean, it's the same way with Neil Young. I mean, hell, any country nowadays. I mean, you might as well consider.
Well, country's been absolutely taken over.
It's unreal.
Country's been terrible since, like, my lifetime.
Okay. I can agree with that for sure.
I think Garth, and I love Garth Brooks.
Okay.
But I think he ruined it. I think he made it like anybody can do this.
Yeah.
And boy, anybody has.
But Brad, like the new stuff, I mean, I don't know, man. I mean, they're, Shinedown.
He also made it pop.
Yeah, Shinedown is freaking awesome. I mean, they've got so many damn hit songs.
I had so many people try and get me into Shinedown. I don't get them.
What about you know, I also somebody that's fairly new to me. You know what I mean? Is damn it, what's their name? I love Avenged Sevenfold, but Disturbed. Disturbed is, dude. That guy can literally sing vocals like that live. That's unreal to me. That is, I've never heard a voice quite like that. I mean, I love Lane Staley, right? I mean, if you were ever going to pick, if I was going to pick,
Lane Staley was the GOAT.
Okay. When I watch this guy barely open his mouth and his voice just goes crazy, I'm impressed. You know what I mean? It's like this guy had vocals that were, they'll never be touched again.
So who's the GOAT on vocals?
Well, Eddie Vedder or Lane Staley, I don't know. I mean, they're both really good, in my opinion.
Guitar?
Yeah, it's tough for me because I'm musical-wise, I'm not the best at. But I mean, it had to probably be like Jimmy Page or something. I mean, Led Zeppelin. You know, and it was pretty fantastic.
On that one.
Pretty.
I think Jimmy Page was the greatest.
Was.
I think he's the GOAT.
Yeah, he was. I don't know. I've seen more things off of him than anybody else. So he created it, a lot of it.
You know? Oh, a lot of it. Well, he stole a lot of it too, but he also took it to the next level.
Yep.
So, like, I think they call it a synergist. You know, somebody who can take something and take it to the next level.
Yep.
You know, it doesn't mean you created it, but you have the ability to translate it.
So I got to ask you, what do you think about the Foo Fighters then?
Well, you heard us cover them at Durham Fest too.
I
We
did.
did Times Like These. I'm not a big Foo Fighters fan. I think it was Johnny. Everybody got to pick a cover, like unquestioned. I'm running this more of a democracy this time, like that.
Okay.
You know, we're all putting in our time. I was probably kind of an asshole about the set list back in the day, but we covered them, and they're fucking hard to cover.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's, you know, it's
Not even, like, they're weird chords,
Mhm.
so you're having to learn, like, completely new chordings, and then the time signature switches to 7, and it's just something you have to think about more than I
Well,
want
you
to
did-
think about.
Brad, I'm going to tell you, you did the whole band. I mean,
We nailed it.
it
we
was
nailed
fucking
it.
good.
Yeah, no, thank
I
you.
was
appreciate it.
impressed. I have never been a Foo Fighter fan, ever.
Yeah.
Ever. Maybe the reason why is because I didn't listen to their shit, right? And then all of a sudden I start hanging out with a neighbor that's got good friends of ours. They got a pool, which is awesome in the summertime, right?
Hell
and the wife there, she loves Foo Fighters. So they'll be playing, and eventually I started actually listening to some of the lyrics and shit, and I'm like, wow, this is a lot deeper than what I thought it was. It just sounded like gibberish to me at first. But they're actually pretty good. I mean, I'm not all their songs, but they've got some pretty decent stuff, and I don't even know if I want to say that, because it's a band that I don't even like their tempo, their tune, their
sound.
I don't like any of it really, but it's like, maybe I'm coming around. I don't know. I'm getting soft, anyways. So, I mean, I like to hear some of that raw, you know, still. But
Pearl Jam just put out a new record.
I've heard the hit song. I forget what it's called. Don't know if I agree
Dark
with
Matter.
it. Yeah, don't know if I agree with it, but you know, because I mean, it's the way that I interpret it is almost like he's kind of talking about maybe my side, you know, maybe our side, you know, I don't know. It just
You talking about the
seems-
lyrics?
Yeah.
See, I haven't even.
It just seems like he's kind of taking a little jab to some people's beliefs, you know, and I mean, whatever. I don't give a shit.
Here's what's interesting to me about music. My wife's big into the lyrics. She listens to lyrics.
My son.
I never listen to lyrics.
Okay.
I don't even listen to what the words. I'm listening to the way the melody relates
Okay.
to the drums and the bass and the guitar. And so I never think about them. And it's weird when you work up a cover and like you really haven't ever thought about the lyrics, and now you're having to learn to sing them, and you're like, oh, I didn't know it said that. That's
Or
wild.
you can be like me, and I just make fucking words up as I go. It sounds correct.
Yeah.
Via the microphone.
You do it too. Yeah.
But I think out of all the songs, the songs that I've heard not millions, but thousands of times, I still don't know any of the words. Really.
Yeah.
And it's like, even, Pearl Jam, Eddie Vedder, you just make shit up.
Well, there's a year grouping for me, because like I can't remember shit, but from like 91 to 96, like every record you play from those years, I remember every word, like without hearing them for 20. Because Max is like on this 90s music. He's like, what's another good album from the 90s? And boom, here it is, and he'll go check them out. And he's driving around right now, and I'm in the passenger seat, scared to death, listening to the 90s music, and I'm like, I remember every fucking word of this shit. I can't remember anything since.
Right.
I got my long-term memory, but...
Oh, man, talk about memory. I think I'm with you there. I think long-term, I've got some, but...
You can't,
Brad,
yeah.
Damn it, it bothers me. I think it's... well, it might be.
It's that right there.
But shit, Carl, he doesn't drink. My uncle, he doesn't drink. That son of a bitch can't remember what he did yesterday.
Really?
So maybe it's hereditary too. I don't know. But and then you got people like probably your dad and maybe a little bit of my dad. They remember fucking dates and times, and it's like, holy shit, I can't.
Up to a point, but it's just like
that.
us. I think your early stage memories are probably a lot more concrete.
Okay.
Because I think that's for anybody. The older you get, the more life blends together, the more repetition. When you're young, everything's new, so you're assigning a baseline to your memories. So I think that just may be a human experience.
Yeah.
The older you get, you stop remembering everything because nothing's new or different.
I think the most fighting me and my wife do is due to my memory. And you just tap that. all right, right there. Well, this is something that, so I smoke cigarettes and I drink beer. And those are my vices, my habits. They've got me by the balls. There ain't no doubt about it. The cigarettes is what I would like to give up first.
Yeah.
Because listen, it stinks. It's not even politically correct anymore you can't smoke in restaurants anymore. It's stupid.
You look like an asshole because society.
It's stupid. I don't like it. Tastes like shit. But damn it, I gotta have it, And so that'll be my first goal, for the improvement of yourself as you grow, is to get rid of that shit. The beer drinking, however, man, I don't know how I could do my job. I don't know how anybody can do a tough job, be stressed out, and not fucking drink a beer every once in a while. I drink it daily, but it's my vice.
I wrestle with myself on the beer thing because it's like, it's not good for you. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I want it.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. It's like I
want it.
I think my whole family worries about it. You know what I mean? It's like, listen, I drink beer. I don't drink liquor. I might have 6 to 10 beers a night, just depending on what mood I'm in and how late I'm staying up. But typically it's I don't wake up hungover.
Well, it's 97% water.
Yeah, but I drink piss beer. You know what I mean?
No, so do I.
I like it. But don't bring me no damn Modelo or anything. That's even too strong for me.
No,
But yeah, this is something that eventually I will probably give up. But I talked to my old man about it, and he's just like, well, son, my dad drank till he was, in his 70s, and then one day he was just like, I'm done. And I think that's probably the path that I'm headed down, where it's like at some point I will be like, I don't want anymore. But Brad, it ain't right now.
It ain't right now.
I mean, it ain't right now.
It ain't right now.
I mean, it's, this is kind of my...
But, I'm okay with that now. It's like, this helps me get through what I need to fucking get through.
Yeah.
I'm not going to demonize myself and say this is, I'm not a loser piece of shit.
Right. I mean, I guess I call myself a functioning alcoholic, but, fuck, I don't even know if I like to put that label on it because it still sounds bad. But I do my job. You know what I mean? I
get
try
your
to,
shit done.
I get my shit done, and then when it's done, damn it, I want to relax for a little bit, and I'm going to drink a couple beers or 8 of them. It doesn't matter, but I know it pisses my wife off, but she's she's 40, she's 41, and she's turned into a
Easy now. Pogs on.
well, she's just a workout machine. I mean,
yeah?
She hit the point in her life to where, I mean, she's waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning, going to the gym every day. I mean, she's been doing this for years. I can't keep up with that.
I don't want to even think about it.
I mean,
dude.
I haven't lifted a weight since I was 20 years old, probably. It's like, I just, more power to her. I'm very proud of her. It shows dedication. It shows drive. It's strength. Strength. And she's always trying to talk me into, Bron, you need to come and work out with me. Let's go work out. Like, damn it.
Where does
man.
that come from, you think?
From her? I don't. Well, I mean, just think that she hit a point in her life to where she was like, she wasn't happy with what she was looking at in the mirror. And she's not a quitter, right? I mean, she's a dedicated person, and she just one day flipped a switch and said, I'm not going to allow myself to do this. I'm going to get healthier. I want to live for my children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? My grandbaby. And she's doing it. I mean, but my opinion on a lot of that stuff is longevity wise. Damn, I mean, everybody that I know seems like everybody's dying of cancer anyways. I mean, there'd be healthy people.
Yeah.
Never smoked a cigarette in their life, never drank. Cancer.
Yeah.
Lung cancer.
Yeah.
It's like, how the
Yeah.
fuck does
I
that
knew a
happen?
dude who got throat cancer didn't do any tobacco or. Yeah.
So it's like, for me, I get her point. For her working out and doing her thing, it makes her feel better. Awesome. I love it. It makes me so. I'm proud. But for me, it's like, well, shit. I'm gonna die of something. Beer's likely not gonna be. Likely be it. You know what I mean? It could be a partial.
It's
part
worth
of it,
the risk.
I don't know. Shit, I want to have fun while I'm here. Damn it. I mean, it's.
I get it, but I also get that where you wake up one day and something's just not cool anymore.
Absolutely.
I remember certain toys I used to play with, and then one day it's like, I'm just not into that anymore. I think that happens throughout your entire life.
And I would hope that you have the decision to make that decision. I mean, it's like, damn it. I mean, I don't want to be told what to do all the time. My wife can rip me up and down. She can.
Well, it's all about
and she
compromise.
can get away with it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's perfectly fine. I mean, I'll listen to her and just let her do her thing. But there's certain times, like the beer drinking. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it bothers her, but at the same time, it's like, damn it, I'm just not ready yet. Give me a little bit.
She drink?
Seldomly, I mean, at your concert. You know what I mean?
She's not daily, though.
No. She used to be. I mean, we grew up together doing this. But she's just bettered herself, which, once again, like I said, I appreciate. I mean,
I feel like there's a lot of other things I can better about myself before this.
Me too. I mean,
It's like,
me too.
that's not my biggest problem as a human being.
It's not. I mean, for me, it's not. It's. I mean, I guess people could disagree with whatever I say, but they.
And they're welcome to disagree, and
Yep.
they're welcome to live their life however
Yep.
they want to live it.
Yep. and yep, we.
You worry about yours, I'll worry about mine, brother.
And once again, that's kind of just society in a way. It's like I'm living my life, not just for me, but at the same time, I've got this tunnel vision thing to where it's like, listen, I'm gonna worry about what I do. You worry about what you do. We should all be fine. You know what I mean? It's
In theory, yeah.
in theory. But if you want to, if you want to nitpick me to death, I mean, God bless you. We're gonna spend a lot of time because I've got a lot of shit that, it's you could pick apart.
We all do. I mean, I was real upset. We ended up cutting wrong at Durham Fest too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No worries, because when we got there, April was like, Bron, I don't want to get up and dance. If they played wrong, I don't want to do it. And Brad,
Really?
you guys cut that out. She still was up there dancing.
I
You know
saw
what I
her
mean?
dancing,
So it's like,
yeah.
shit. You just need a little bit of liquid courage and
That's what all anybody needs.
rock and roll. Going back to the beer drinking for me too. I'm such a quiet person. I don't ever have anything to say. I sit back, I observe. That's pretty much all I do. Me doing the podcast, dude, I gotta have a couple beers, or else I would never open up. I would never even think about doing this. Right? I'm a hermit.
I do as well, sir.
I'm a hermit, dude.
The pod would not exist without natural light.
Yeah, I
wouldn't even do it.
I can sound like a real idiot when I'm sober, but when I've been drinking, it's
You're only half an idiot.
maybe, because I'm just not a very funny guy. I'm not. It's like I said. My dad and my son. Shit. These guys, they're just jokesters, man. They love to just joke around, and they're witty, and I'm just more of like this fucking tunnel vision, like where I literally don't pay attention to anything else. Politics I do, but I wish I didn't, but I do. But I'm just in my own little world, really for the most part,
It's interesting that you don't see yourself as an interesting individual.
I'm not. I've got.
You were one of my top people to get on here. No joke.
Well, and I want to be on again because I've already noticed.
But like the reason I wanted you on is because I find every time we have a conversation, it always feels rushed. Like the kids are waiting to pick up a car or something, and it's like, or it's Durham Fest. I don't even think I saw you. In passing.
Yep, we did. We hugged.
We hugged, but that was it.
That's about it.
That's it, though. I didn't get to say. Yep. And that sucks.
Which
for me.
You're a busy man out there.
I know. We're all doing our shit. We're trying to run this show, and that's why I wanna reduce our role in it. Eventually, I'd like to do like a 30-minute set at the end of the night, and then have just different groups of people get up and jam, and family and friends. We're just kind of the closers.
Well, I think you got the family and friends to do that, don't you?
I agree, man.
Do
you know Emma Man very well?
Oh God, yeah. She's awesome. She's a one woman band, and she's freaking
but
awesome.
Don't you think with a band?
Oh, it'd be. Well, that would be.
That's my point.
Really
it's
neat.
like nobody's listening to somebody playing an acoustic guitar.
Okay.
But when that drum kit comes on, son, you listen.
Wow.
And I think she would be a great front woman.
Well, I never thought about that because that's the band is what makes the experience.
Yeah. You don't even have to have a great lead singer.
Yeah.
You just have to have that ensemble, that dynamic, that push and pull, the lead solo. It's a theater thing.
Yeah.
But if you're standing up there by yourself, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do what she does. Just get up there and play a fucking... She played 30, 40 minutes, man. Just prepared.
Yep. Well, she's good at it, too.
She's coming out tomorrow night.
For the podcast? Or for...
We're gonna Austin and her coming out.
Sweet.
We're gonna fucking hang out.
Sweet.
There's gonna be some beer drank.
Good.
We might work on some songs
Cool.
for some collaborations. We'll see where that goes.
She got a pretty voice. I mean, I love those two.
What
they're,
I
they're
love-
freaking. They are awesome. I mean, I love them.
I think she needs to elevate to something above just her and a guitar.
Okay.
She needs to start playing with some things she can do some harmonies with, and that's what I want to focus on is
Okay.
getting into some like not duets like I don't like to take turn duets where the guy sings the girl sings. Find a song that's got harmonies all the way through it,
Okay.
and then you got two voices going the whole time. Alice in Chains is a great example of that, but
Oh, absolutely.
there's a lot of stuff outside of that, but not a lot of people utilize. So I want to kind of isolate those kinds of songs that are really harmony driven.
Is there a reason, a purpose? Are you trying to maybe promote Emma Man, or are you trying to promote? Are you going round 3 or 4? I mean, like band wise, or
Well,
or are you doing this for fun? I mean, what's
I'm just doing what's fun right now, man.
okay.
And whatever I decide to do, I'm gonna try and fucking put it out on either the
Right on.
pod or
Yeah.
my idea was me and Emma get a few people in and work up a song, a cover.
Okay.
And you do like a song a month or something.
Okay.
And then you do it like maybe live.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
this is it. Like
Yep.
we rehearsed it.
Yep.
And if you fuck up, you fuck up,
Yep. Yep.
Or a studio video, something. But just getting musicians together and jamming up new songs, something different.
Well, and that's what I mean. I think we started the podcast off where it's like, dude, I got so much appreciation for you to be able to do what you do. I mean, it's everything you do is a full-time job. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
it's
it never
all
stops.
becoming that way, yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I feel so fucking lazy these days. I'm an empty
Yeah.
nester. Me and April get to do whatever we want to do. If we're not in bed by 8 o'clock, fuck, we're up.
I'm
it's-
up till midnight working, but the difference is now I'm up editing videos or I'm working up songs, whereas 2 years ago I was laying on that couch playing video games.
Okay, well that's no good. Yeah.
And I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew it was worthless. I knew I was literally just, and it wasn't even about the drinking. It was about the just serving like I'm just, television's no better, But now I'm doing something that's productive.
Yes. Yeah, and it gives enjoyment to a ton
Gives you a
of
fucking
people.
reason.
Yeah.
Gives you a purpose.
Yeah.
Well, if people are enjoying it, that's just a side product. Like,
Right.
I don't want to do this with the thought of like, what people are gonna like. Like, I'm gonna do what's fun, and if people like it, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And
Well-
then you probably reach a relationship where it's like, maybe you do give the people what they like. I don't know. We're feeling it out. It's new.
Right on, dude.
I haven't
I
been
like
doing
I
this-
like hearing that. I mean that sounds really neat. I mean it's
I want you to be a part of it, brother.
yeah,
We're all doing this. It's a community thing, man.
this is awesome, you know what I mean? It's like just I don't know. I was out here last year, first time I ever been out here and seen this place. I'm just like, holy shit, he's got a man cave. This is awesome. So many just neat off the wall shit in here. I love it. I mean, it's
You probably never saw my grandparents' house, my dad's parents.
nope.
But it was like that. Like, there was no inch uncovered in the house. It was just fucking shit everywhere.
Okay.
And I loved it. It was like a museum. Every time you went over there, you'd find something new. You'd ask them the stories about it. And I'll never forget that bobcat up there. As I asked my grandpa one time, because he had a lot of antlers and horns in the house, but he wasn't a hunter. So I asked him about the bobcat. I was like, what's the story with that bobcat? And he said, I was in Montana and I went into a flea market. And there was this bobcat sitting back on the counter, and I asked the guy working there, I said, how much for the bobcat? And that's the story. All right, so you bought it at a flea market. That's the story.
Right on.
Not a lot of great stories on that side of the family.
Which side of the? I mean,
This is my dad. So they had this cheese dip, prairie fire, ranch style beans, jalapenos. Anyway, it's a kind of a Durham thing. It's been made all my life. And Grandma was old and in her later years. And I finally asked, I was like, hey, where'd that recipe come from? You know, we've had it, you know, my whole life. What's the story with that? And she said, oh, it was a Kraft advertisement in a newspaper. For like Kraft cheese.
Okay.
I was like, God damn it.
That's where you come up. Yeah, you wanted.
Fuck,
You wanted.
I
Something
wanted
special.
I was like,
Yeah.
the only things we had in the house. I don't know. I wanted a fucking story, and it was like, God damn, that's lame.
Man, that's all right. Yep. Was it good?
Oh, it's fucking great.
Okay.
We met so my dad all my uncles made it, and then I made it, and now my youngest one makes it on Sundays when we watch football.
Right on.
You watch NFL?
Brad, I've gotten pretty much away from all sports except for golf.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because of politics. Fucking culture and politics. If sports would have never involved themselves with politics, I'd still be watching. But I've always been a college fan, right?
Yeah, you're more of a college guy,
always
yeah.
a college fan. I mean, I just felt like these kids had something to prove. They were playing their hearts out. And now that's even changed. I mean, now they're making money. And listen, I don't disagree with some of that, but the way things are going, it's become a professional. I mean, that's what it is. You know, you sell your own jerseys, you make money. And I don't disagree with it, but I'm kind of cut on my decision on how I feel about it. But I don't watch it anyways. So no more baseball, no more football, no more nothing. I watch golf. And the coolest shit that I've ever seen in golf is, which I don't know if you know this guy. His name's Scotty Scheffler, and he is fucking world number one. He's a stud. Apparently he got arrested and
Okay, that's
drug
what
a
I've heard.
cop.
I heard about it when he
It
got
was
arrested.
the funniest shit ever. Of course, you know, I mean, it pays to be wealthy and be the number one golfer in the world and know people or whatever, because he got off of it pretty much scot-free, you know. And I've watched the video. I mean, I don't think there's any malintent there, you know. It's, but that was kind of the highlight of the last couple or month, you know. But that's all I do, because I mean, listen, in my opinion, golf is the last fucking sport that's keeping themselves away from politics. Nobody talks about it. Nobody says they're Trump, Biden. Nobody says anything. They leave it out.
You don't
And
feel
that's
like
what
it's
I want to
infected
happen.
yet, yeah.
I mean, dude, when my college football team, OU, at one point, you know, I mean, I was a diehard OU fan. When they locked arms over police brutality and Black Lives Matter, I give up. I give up, because it's like, no, you guys need to be playing football and you know, doing your job there, not providing people with, you know, your opinion on politics. There's no room for that in sports. You know, it's covered in it now. I mean, it's ridiculous now. I don't even like watching it. It's always something. But I miss it. I do miss it. You know,
You can always watch it with the volume off.
Yeah, I guess I could.
We're gonna be watching ball out here on Sundays. I'm trying to figure out how to get a pod going. I don't want the NFL audio. Probably get in trouble for that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We do it with headphones.
Yeah. All of us wear headphones and just
Yeah,
talk
I got
shit up there.
headphones. We're gonna try and do the debate live on.
So, who do you have coming in for the debate?
Drew Jones, my cousin's husband, Audie Overton, and Nicole.
Okay. That should be interesting.
It'll be interesting if we can get it worked out. Like, CNN has basically said
You can't live stream.
you can't live stream it. So we've found a loophole thanks to Tim Pool.
Yep.
We're gonna be trying to embed whatever. Drew's coming out early. We're gonna figure it out.
Yep. Is Drew pretty tech savvy?
Oh
I guess?
yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
we'll
that's-
figure it out. We'll be even if we got to go to X or Rumble, we'll be live streaming it.
Okay. Do you post any of this stuff on Rumble right now?
No, but
Okay. Eventually,
if I get time,
yeah,
I've got all the master video files saved, so it's just good lord,
moving them and
God, dog. I just got to get them uploaded. I don't even have a Rumble channel, but yes, the idea is to get. So we were doing Spotify and YouTube at the same time at first, but all the views were on YouTube.
okay.
So,
Okay.
you know, now that I'm kind of doing it mostly myself, I'm like, you know, the YouTube's doing fine.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
eventually I want to get it on Spotify and I want to get it on Rumble.
Well, that's. I mean, it's funny because I mean, I still use YouTube. I disagree with what they stand for, 100%. But so typically, I mean, if I'm watching any podcast, you know, from I don't know what 2002 or something maybe to now, it's every bit of it's Rumble. I mean, I mean, listen, Rumble doesn't have the infrastructure. They can't be YouTube. YouTube owns
And they
the
never
whole.
will.
They own it.
Yeah.
That area. They own it. But I don't know. I'm a freaking hardhead, and it's like, man,
I watch anybody on Rumble I can.
yeah.
I'll try and watch them on Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I've got pretty much the podcast. I mean, we talked about this a little bit earlier. Who intrigues me? Where do I get my news? Rumble. I mean, that's pretty much it. I listen to Steven Crowder, Tim Pool, Dan Bongino, Mark Levin. Every once in a while, I'll listen to Alex Jones. I mean, I think this son of a bitch is crazy, but I love him, and he should have every right to speak freely.
Yeah,
You know,
I think
and-
it's his approach. I think
He's-
he's just so wild sounding that
He is.
no matter what he says, it's going to sound crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, the
Fucker's
guy's
been right a
track
lot.
record is pretty fucking solid.
It's pretty good. It's scary. It's scary.
It is scary.
Because I mean, he's been talking about some of this stuff for decades, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it's like, oh shit, okay, he was right. Well, it's
Well,
dangerous.
he pays attention to stuff most people don't, like the government documents that are public information that nobody reads. You know, he's digging through that shit or has a team digging through it. So, I mean, there's information out there, just nobody's reporting on it.
Yeah, and I mean, nobody reports on it. I mean, I watch a lot of the stuff that I watch is congressional hearings. They're boring most of the time. I mean, nothing ever happens.
Yeah, they're
it's
awful.
It's stupid, but at the same time, I get a lot of information of what I'm looking for at that point, at that time. What are these people doing right or wrong? And when I get to hear both sides kind of come at the people that are up there, testifying or whatever, I don't know. It's pretty important. It's just hard to manage through all the. I mean, we're talking hours upon hours. It's like, oh shit, man, I don't want to read all the fucking paperwork. I mean, at some point I got to stop, and just be like, all right, it's time for work or family time or I don't know. But anyways, Brad, I guess the main thing for me is politics and Donald Trump. That's kind of where I'm at. So the debate, of course, what Trump's coming in to say. I mean, it's talking points. Biden, I think it'll happen. He'll show up. He'll probably be all hopped up on medication and maybe sound reasonable, but stumbling, over everything.
They can't drug him anymore. He's past the drugging point.
Yeah. Well,
There's no way.
So do you think they're going to try to pull him out?
Yeah,
then?
there's no way. There's no way.
I mean,
This will air Thursday before the debate, but I would not be surprised if something happens to Biden during the debate?
Like an act, like a.
I don't know, man. I got a weird feeling about this debate. It's so historical. It's a rematch. It's the first time a former president's debated a current president. Like everything Trump does is historical. You know,
It sure
for
seems
better or
it.
for worse, but for
Yeah.
worse. But man, I feel like if it's just even if they cut the mics, no matter what rules they put in favor of Trump, Trump's going to destroy the man.
Right, right.
The man can't speak.
Yeah.
He can't even read.
Yeah, yeah.
And so even if there's a teleprompter there, Trump's not going to have a teleprompter. He's going to be winging it. Even to no audience, he knows the American public's watching.
Right.
So he's still performing.
Right.
You know, Biden just is going to be lost. I don't even know if he's going to hear what Trump says, honestly.
Well, I mean, I would assume that Biden will get a little bit, upset. Start kind of.
They'll give him some juice early on.
Yeah, but he'll get upset and he'll start just kind of slandering. Throwing. Just stupid
34 felony counts.
Yes,
He's going to say
that's
that
what-
100 times.
That's what he'll do. He'll go directly after that over and over again, not making any sense to the question.
What is Trump's defense to that right off the bat? What does he need to say?
And I would assume that he would say, "Listen, if I wasn't running for president of the United States, none of this would ever happen. This would have never
That's true.
happened.
They're outdated
They're out
misdemeanors.
to get me, which is
Yeah.
out to get you." That's
Yeah.
that's pretty much. I mean, I went and seen this man in Tulsa. It was fucking awesome.
Who?
I mean, Trump.
You saw Trump really?
Yeah, I went to one of the rallies. It was
No shit.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was.
That's
I mean, for
wild.
me, it was. I mean, we had to. Damn, it was rough because we had to wait. Outside for shit. I don't know. I think it was July or something. Whatever it was, but it was hot. We had to wait out in line. With thousands and thousands of other people for probably 2 fucking hours. It was delayed a little bit. Oh God, it was brutal. Once we got in, it's Trump being Trump. It was the time that he picked up a glass and it slipped out of his hands or whatever, and CNN fucking he can't even hold a glass. It was that rally. And then the very next rally he's like, look at this, and he threw it. You know what I mean? It's like it was historic for me. You know what I mean? It was neat seeing him president.
We're
of the
all
United
going to remember
States.
this in 20 years.
Yeah, I mean it was a lot of fun. I mean he's the life of the crowd. I mean there ain't no doubt about it. You can love him or hate him, but he's still just fucking
Funny as
he's
fuck.
funny as shit.
He's funny
Yeah,
as fuck.
I mean it doesn't matter, but yeah, I mean I hope dude, I'm scared. I'm scared for the nation. There ain't no doubt about it. I mean, I think Trump deserves another round of this, even though I don't think he's going to be able to do a whole bunch of damage in his second term. I think the Democrats will pretty much handcuff him. It looks like that's what they're trying to do right now with the border. You know what I mean? Biden's trying to open up a lot of shit. And, court system wise, they're trying to tie his hands. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, I mean, I'm ready for this year to be over with. Find out who's president, and then either invest in property or not.
We'll figure it out, man. Let's wrap this bitch up.
Yep.
Thank you so much, sir.
Brad Durham, thank you.
You're the man.
You the man.